Halo Infinite's day in...
Okay, I guess it's time to begin the journey that is Donkey Kong Country 2. Yeah, not quite as much nostalgia for that theme as I have for the original, because I barely, for those who don't know, I've played this one significantly less compared to how often I've played the first game. By which I mean, I played up until the minecart level in the first game. This game, I don't think I ever made it past the first few levels of getting Placky Alien, so it'll be a new experience for all of us. But hello everyone, welcome to the stream today. same ordeal as last week. We're going to be playing through Donkey Kong Country 2, just to continue our journey through these games. Next week, of course, will be Donkey Kong Country 3, and then after that, we'll move on to Returns, and then Tropical Freeze. So, poll of hands, who's seen Turning Red? Because I've seen half of it, and it was something. It was something, alright. There's an extra rule for doing the game 100%. I will not be doing that. There's absolutely no shot in the world I'll be doing that. It's the worst crap you've seen since Free Guy. I can believe it. Yep. I gotta see the other half right now. Yeah, no thanks. I'm a stream first. Then I'll see the other half. You heard it was bizarre? Bizarre is certainly one way to put it. There are many ways to describe Turning Red. Bizarre is most certainly one of them. But yeah, I will be watching the second half of Turning Red after the, well, not immediately after the stream, because I need to record audio for something, after this. But it will be, I will be watching it later today. Stream the other half. What, you want me to be like a certain other Twitch streamer that gets the channel DMCA'd for half a day? Because of it? Because I think I'll pass on that one, because I do not have the same mass following, and therefore do not make the same amount of money for these platforms as some other people do, and therefore I will not be shown the same leniency as those bigger content creators. But that's a topic for a different day, you know, it's whatever, it's fine, there's no bias whatsoever towards certain content creators when it comes to DMCAing things. What are you talking about? Anyway, your friend said it's amazing. Well, I certainly had a blast watching it because it's so blatantly idiotic in every facet of its design. But it's certainly not very well written, that's for damn sure. It makes no goddamn sense, and the friends are just annoying, and it's cringe as hell. So, my experience viewing it quickly went from, good god, I'm cringing out of existence, to, good god, what the hell is happening? Nothing makes any goddamn sense. And from what I've heard, it only gets worse the further into the movie you get. Like, I've heard that the climax specifically is just completely batshit craziness, so I'm actually looking forward to it, to seeing how this calamity ends later today. But specifically, if I have to pick one thing that really is pissing me off, is just the complete and utter lack of consistency in regards to the rule set surrounding her ability to transform into the panda. There's absolutely no consistency with that whatsoever, and it's kind of pissing me the hell off. But, you know, it's whatever. Characters look like they'd appeal to you, so they're still very excited to watch. I can see the characters appealing to people, certainly. Possibly. But, the thing is, someone asked me on Discord if I'm going to make a video about it. I don't really have enough passion to make a video about it, because that would require me to hate it, which I certainly do not hate it at all. It's not a movie that pisses me off, it's a movie that just makes me want to die because of how absurdly insane it is. So, I don't have the passion to sit down and write a script about it. Plus, there's other projects I'm in the middle of working on that would have to take a back seat to Turning Red if I was going to do that, and I just don't want to do that. Oh. Invincibility, cool. It looked bad, not surprised it was bad. it's no surprise that on Twitter there was a lot of discourse surrounding the actual fidelity of the animation and the art style. So, you know, I definitely saw a lot of people saying it looked bad visually, but in terms of the actual story, I knew Pixar's tackled crazy premises before. I was open to it. I just wasn't quite sure what it was going to be like. Hello, dearies, I'm Mrs. Wrinkly Kong. I'm available to teach courses on how to play this game, or you can just pop in when you... Yeah, no thanks, I'll pass, thanks. I don't need that. There's something making me want to die, not piss me off. So, when I say it makes me want to die, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. Because I'm just more referring to just how I lost my mind watching it because of how out of this world insane everything was. So it's not quite what I mean when I say that. The song I played at the beginning ended up becoming famous because it became an internet checkpoint where everyone stated how their life was, and it was really sad and tear-jerking. Okay then, interesting. The art style still looks bad. It would probably look better if they used cell shading. I'm at this point, I'm just so... I care so little about art style in regards to most things, because it's just so not... It's so secondary, tertiary possibly, to the actual substance of the writing, so I'm just... I can't be bothered to care about whether the film is visually impressive or not. It could be the most beautiful animated film ever, and I would still be like, what is this red hot shit? You looked up Turning Red, and you found IGN and L danging around the S Markiplier, your favorite reviewers. And let me guess, their reviews were glowing? I can almost guarantee you that specifically well, both of them probably said it was a masterpiece. I'd be willing to bet that they both had very glowing things to say about this movie. And I haven't, and to be fair, I guess I can't even technically speak to its quality in totality because I haven't even finished it, but from what I have seen, I can't imagine it getting any better. And once again, it succumbs to the same dumbass second act breakup that has infested almost every animated movie nowadays, and it has not gotten any less aggravating. What is this? Give him the big hand, folks. Good evening, I'm Swanky Kong, and you're tonight's contestants on my Bonanza. Easy to play, just pick a game and you're away. Okay. I have no coins. I can play no games. What is my name? Your name is Swanky. Let's play on. First enemy that you see in the game. It was a furry rat. Name of this area of the island. It's Gangplank Galleon. Yeah, hey, I got a free life. Cool. I can play no more games. Alright, goodbye. See you later, Swanky. A user named Taya777 uploaded a 1-hour loop of that song with the background level and it shows up, and for some reason the comments fill with people sharing issues in their lives. I've seen things like that happen with a lot of video game soundtracks, and nostalgic videos like that. Another one that has a very wholesome comment section is if you look at the Halo 3 menu theme, or just look up Halo 3 main menu, that's that's another one of those types of videos with wholesome comments like that. When you said it looked bad, you're talking about general terms, not really visuals. Well, I didn't even... When I saw the trailer, I usually don't... For Lightyear, I'm actively dissecting every... Well, not dissecting, but I'm actively looking at every single trailer that comes out because I want to know as much about that film as possible before I see it. Because I have no faith whatsoever in it being any amount of good. But with Turning Red, I just had no passion for it whatsoever leading up to it. It was like, I'll watch this and we'll see what it's like. So I didn't really want to know much about it ahead of time. So I wasn't really invested too much in the actual quality of what it looked, how good the story scene was going to be ahead of time. Especially considering the fact that Pixar is known for tackling outrageous concepts in the past, and they've done a pretty good job of nailing them successfully. So I was down to see what it was going to be like, and boy howdy. I mean, if I saw this in a theater, like if I actually paid money to go see this in a theater and didn't just watch it on Disney Plus, I probably would have gotten my money's worth, just because I would have been laughing. I mean, well, actually, it probably would have been a bad thing. It's probably good I didn't see it in a theater, because I would not have been able to suppress my urge to laugh uncontrollably at every second of the film. I would not have been able to. Oh dear God, I feel like I'm just like sounding like a broken record. I do not want it to be understated how much I died of laughter. I could not breathe watching this film because I just could not stop cackling uncontrollably about every facet of it. I'm just trying to play through the game fast. No, I'm just trying to play through the game at a rate at which things I don't really have any intentions of trying to speedrun through it. I'm just playing at the pace I would ordinarily play. You found Turning Red to be mediocre? I can see you coming to that conclusion, but I think it's just broken from every facet of its storytelling is just absolutely broken. You wouldn't be able to suppress your urge to scream at the movie. You didn't find the amusing at all. Yeah, I can see it. I absolutely can see it. I mean, there's some movies that I watch that I'm just... I can't contain my laughter for because of how stupid they are. And there's some movies you watch that they're so bad that they're entertaining in a way. But Turning Red is one of those for me, but I get that not everyone's going to have that same experience. So, totally understandable for someone to watch the movie and come away from it saying, hey, you know, that was horrible and I didn't enjoy it at all, but I definitely had a blast watching it. The beginning did make you facepalm. Well, from the opening seconds of the movie, I was already put off significantly just by the general style of it all. Okay, can we cool it with the backseating? It's the reason I don't like playing these types of games on the channel. I beat the boss without doing the thing you told me to do. So, can we cool it with this, please? Thanks. Jesus. Fuck Nintendo and their archaic way of thinking? Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, from the opening seconds of the movie, I was already significantly put off by just the general style of it. The narration was annoying. I mean, narration can work either really well or really poorly. I think Clyde with a Chance of Meatballs does a good job of having narration be the opener for the movie, but it can be easily misused. But the way Turning Red makes use of its opening narration was aggravating, to say the least. So, yeah. IGN or someone in Discord said IGN-orant. Yeah, ignorant. Gave it 9 stars. Because of course they did. Do I want you to ban backseating comments if they happen? No, it's not. Backseating isn't worth a ban. I mean, if it gets egregious, then maybe, but the first time someone does it, it's just, like, it's more just a warning thing. Like, I don't want to, there's a very fast way to piss me off is to try to backseat. Like, this is why I don't, there's a reason why most of the time I prefer to play games on stream that I'm already familiar with to some extent, because I know I'm not going to have to deal with people trying to tell me how to play the whole time. But, you know, can't really avoid that with stuff like this, so it's just, like, the streamers who played Undertale, I feel so much sympathy for them specifically. Because I've heard horror stories of streamers whose chats would just spam at every available opportunity the decisions you needed to make at every single stopping point of the game. Same thing with stuff like Telltale games. Detroit Become Human was a big one. Until Dawn. It was just it's frustrating to see. Landlubbers, my name is Clubbin to cross me. Don't pay up, I'll run you through like the scurvy dogs you are. Cost 15 creme coins to cross. I don't have 15 of those. So, okay, goodbye. Nice knowing you. You only said it once? Right, you only said it once and then I gave you a warning. Hence why your comments weren't banned. You know I hate Grace Attorney 1-4 and Grace Attorney 2-2, but there's some of your favorite filler cases. How many times have they attempted to follow the filler case? So far once and they failed. And it doesn't really matter how... It doesn't really matter if it's something they haven't attempted before. It's still something that didn't work well. You can have a great idea. The idea of saying, hey, let's follow up this filler case from the last game is great, but if the execution is horrible, then I don't particularly care how great your idea is. Visuals are much more varied and dynamic than the first game. Yeah, it certainly seems that they gave a bit of a visual overhaul for the sequel. Markiplier stopped Let's Playing the game because of comments harassed him for killing Toriel. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that my Let's Play, I didn't have as big of an audience when I played Undertale for the first time, because I could see myself of getting very, very frustrated very, very easily by people who would have, I mean, well, just look at my Deltarune Let's Play and you can see why it would have been very, very aggravating had I chosen to play Undertale with the current following that I have. You legit want a big top follow-up just out of sheer curiosity how it would go? Technically, you got one in the form of the Grand Turnabout. That is, technically speaking, it takes place at Very Big Circus for a little bit. It has some of the characters from it to some extent. So, you know, there's that. You really didn't want to kill Toriel, but you also thought it was impossible to give her mercy. Yeah, I thought that as well. But I can guarantee you that if I can guarantee you, had I played Undertale today, the comments would have been swarming people saying, "Oh my god, don't you know you can save her if you do X, Y, and Z?" It's like, no, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. So yeah, I'm glad I got my solo experience with Undertale, and then I don't ever have to deal with that ever again. I'm glad, because Undertale is a game that could have very easily been ruined by comments like that. So I'm glad I got my self-contained experience in a vacuum. The Imprisoned Turnabout is kind of a sequel to Big Top. The Imprisoned Turnabout and Grand Turnabout, I think, both qualify for the topic of what would be a sequel to it. So, you know, there's that, I suppose. Undertale is amazing, but the fandom is the exact opposite. Yeah, trust me, that has been made abundantly clear to me over the past, like, less than a year. In the case of many fandoms. Yeah, there's many fandoms where the game being, I mean, hey, even just the Halo fandom, as someone who is an avid fan of the Halo games, I don't even want to be called a Halo. Even to be referred to as a Halo fan is just almost a derogatory statement nowadays, because of how awful the fan base is. Like, the discourse about Halo on Twitter is legit some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. The Undertale fandom's decent nowadays, but goddamn, back then it was awful. I've still seen some stuff nowadays that has been less than desirable. So, I don't know. I was lucky I wasn't spoiled on Undertale. I really was. I think it's just because I wasn't actively invested in. Like, I made a concerted effort to not watch any Let's Plays or anything to stay as far away from it as possible. So that's probably how I was it. Because following a lot of Halo people on Twitter means that I'm going to be flooded with more Halo-related content than if I didn't, which kind of makes it harder to avoid spoilers sometimes. Whereas with Undertale, I didn't follow anything even remotely Undertale-related at all, which is what allowed me to be able to stay away from it. The Persona fandom to a degree, oh, more than just to a degree. So, in my worst games, you think placing Mario 64 on it does not go with other low-quality entries. It does not hold up today, but it was the best they could do at the time. If you agree that it does not hold up today, then the conversation's over. It's done. It's over. If you agree it doesn't hold up well, it's over. It's done. It doesn't matter how good something was, it matters how good something is. How come Super Mario Kart wasn't on the list? Just because I didn't want to get anybody saying, well, Super Mario Kart is a Mario game. You said you wouldn't do more than one game per series. Checkmate. So I didn't want to deal with it. Given the comments I've already gotten about that video, the last thing I want to do is stir the pot more with someone calling it a technicality like that. It's the last thing in the world I wanted to do. The Persona fandom harassed the girl out because she liked the Persona 5 cast. Yeah, I can see that. Given my experience with the Persona fandom, I can absolutely see that. What if you think Mario 64 holds up? Well, I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Its controls are awful, its camera is also awful. The level design is archaic. I'm not even gonna ask what that means, Bird's Net Team. I'm not even gonna bother asking what the hell you mean by that. I'm pretty sure I don't want to know. How's the game so far? It's fun. It's about on par with the first game so far. Although Diddy's the main character, which is cool. Bit more nimble than Donkey Kong. You enjoy your time with 64, but it absolutely did not age well. It has major... Oh yeah, it had major issues. That game is physically painful to play nowadays. It may have laid the groundwork for it may have laid the groundwork for future 3D games like that to be phenomenal, but that doesn't mean it aged well at all. People like to use the IMO shield until they find an opinion they don't agree with. Oh, absolutely. People have no... I guess this is the hairsmith thing you guys were talking about. Yeah, Dixie can hairsmith. Okay. People are absolute hypocrites in regards to using that. They'll use it as a shield whenever they need to, but the second they find something that they actually have contention with, they'll drop it immediately. The camera's mediocre. No, the camera's awful. We'll stop that dead in its tracks. The camera's actually awful. Not being able to make micro adjustments to it is painful for platforming. It gets you killed so often. And not being able to rotate it all the way around in certain enclosed areas is abysmal. By that logic, any game created at the time of Mario 64 should be on my list. They all controlled terribly. So what you fail to understand is I haven't played all the games from that era. I can only judge the games I've played. I'm sure if I did play more games of that era, they would probably also be on the list. But I haven't played those games, so I can't actually, you know, rank them appropriately. You consider Super Mario and Mario Kart 2 different series? I would, but I'm pretty sure not everybody would, and I didn't want to take that risk. Can I play the Search for Fran? I don't know what that is, but maybe one day in the future. The N64 had Quest 64. It's major RPG. It's a major JRPG and one of the worst that's ever been made. I will take your word for it. I've heard that Super Mario 64, sorry, many of the Nintendo 64's library has not aged well at all. Mario Galaxy had a similar camera control, but the levels were designed around the auto camera is good. Yeah, the big distinction between 64 and Galaxy is that the auto camera is significantly helpful. Because I almost don't even have to change my... I rarely had to use the camera in Galaxy, just because the auto camera is so incredibly well made that it actually accounts for where you need to be and what you need to be looking at. You don't even hate 64, but you hate the fans. I certainly have contention with a lot of 64 defenders, but I still don't... I still would not rather play the game instead. It's not even because it plays bad, it's just bland and boring with no creativity at all. Like I said, I'm just gonna have to take your word for it, because I haven't actually played the game you're referring to. What's my opinion on Mario Bros. 3? I barely played it, so I can't really comment on it. The original trilogy of Mario Bros. Games, I can't really comment on. Now, the arcade game, Mario, like the actual Mario Bros. Arcade game, that was a lot of fun to play. Mario 64 shouldn't be regarded as a masterpiece, it should be regarded as what it is, a stepping stone for 3D platforms as we have today. Yeah, that, if people just said, yes, it hasn't aged well, but it was important to lay the groundwork for what games, for future games of its style, that'd be okay, because that would be correct. That is a correct statement. It has aged like absolute dog shit, but it was important to lay the groundwork for future games. That's a correct statement. But what people like to say is actually the game is aged like a masterpiece, which it has not. So, yeah, that's where the issue comes in with. Mario 3 is overrated. Like I said, I'm not. I've played those games so little that I have nothing valuable to say on any of the original trilogy of Mario Bros. Games. I've played them all for a little bit, like individual, just bits at a time. I guess I could play those games on stream one day, because I've played the first few levels of Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3, but never to completion and never in long chunks. Kind of similar to the Donkey Kong Country trilogy, so I could play those one day on stream, possibly. How do we go from talking about Donkey Kong Country 2 music to this? That's called the flow of conversation. It's a wonderful thing. Some people say that Super Mario Kart aged well, because that's the same logic. Yeah, actually, some people have. I have seen some people say that. One YouTuber who does Nintendo stuff is great, but for some reason he keeps calling Mario 64 the best game ever made. The only reason I can discern is nostalgia blinds. I don't like to make the assumption that people only say something is good because of nostalgia, but the game is just so physically painful to play, I'm left with no other assumption. The fact some defend security breach is BS, the only fun in it is cracking the game open and breaking it. Yeah, I think speedrunners have had a good time with the game, just because it's so absolutely broken that the only recourse is to, because it's so easy to break the game open and speedrun it, that works out nicely there. But for just playing it normally, it's an absolute nightmare. It's nothing but pain and suffering. I'm glad I have all the footage recorded for the video I'm gonna make, because good lord almighty, I do not want to play that game ever again. I mean, I played it a little bit after the patch to see if anything that was broken was fixed, and spoiler alert, it wasn't. In fact, it was made even worse. They somehow, they introduced even more problems to the game. I don't know how you do that. I genuinely don't know how you add even more problems to a game that's already as broken as it is, but they managed somehow. People defend the story. Oh, honestly, I haven't actually seen any defenses of the story. I've only ever seen defenses of the gameplay by saying, come on, it's a small studio, cut them some slack, or something like that. But I haven't actually, now that's not saying people haven't. I'm sure people have tried to defend the story. But, I just personally haven't seen any of them. But it's the internet, so I'm sure they have. You 100% Sunshine, you only found like 5 really annoying shines. So my understanding of Sunshine's pain is that the pain mostly comes from the blue coins, not necessarily the shines. Like, from what I understand, the shines themselves are not actually that bad for the most part. It's just the blue coin mechanic. Oh, this is a bird. Is a bird. Hello, bird. For the blue... Oh, okay, we're fine. The blue coins are the... Ouch. The main thing that people have an issue with. Let's Play livestream request Yoshi's Island. I don't really know much about that game, but I wouldn't be opposed to playing it, certainly. Annoying FNAF YouTubers will scream like children at literally anything the story brings. Yeah, I will say this. I don't think Markiplier fits this category. I mean, well, I think when he first played the games, there was a certain element of kind of playing up his reactions a little bit, because that was kind of the meta on YouTube at the time, was overreacting to everything. But ever since, really, I'd say ever since Sister Location, I think he's been a bit less overly exaggerated with his reactions and just been more genuine, because I think Markiplier has matured a lot as a creator, and he hasn't had to be as overactive as he usually does. So, like, his reaction, his playthrough Security Breach was really awesome to watch, just for that alone. But there's a lot of FNAF YouTubers that I'm sure I don't need to mention that just overreact to literally everything. And the thing is, I can't really blame them for it, because their livelihood is generated from this game, so they kind of have to just overreact to everything. I feel bad for them. They must have worked so hard to try to fake enjoyment for Security Breach of all things. Like, imagine your job is to pretend to enjoy Security Breach for your audience. That's gotta be, like, the worst job in the world for YouTube stuff. Matured a lot, makes Smash or Pass. You know what I mean. I mean in terms of his work ethic and his general demeanor. You never played Mario Galaxy until 3D All-Stars. You didn't really enjoy the game because the motion controls constantly get out of sync. Oh, right. So I can't speak to the quality of the motion controls on the Switch, but the motion controls on the Wii version are like the pinnacle example of how to implement motion controls into your game properly. So definitely would advise, if you have the means to, I would advise that over anything else. They dug themselves into a hole from which they simply cannot escape. Yeah, it's... Again, I can't really blame them, because that's what their audience wants to see, is just overreactions to everything. I mean, thankfully, I've built up an audience that I've made it abundantly clear I don't particularly give a shit what the popular consensus is. I'm going to tear things to shreds whether people love them or not. The Galaxy duology are your favorite games of all time. Understandable. Galaxy 2 is a masterpiece, and Galaxy laid the groundwork for Galaxy 2 to be amazing. You respect Dawko for 50/20, but you have no idea how he's screaming of the hype of the story with William coming back. I'm sure you can probably question why, or you probably have a general idea as to why. It's just because, like I said, his audience will gobble up. His audience doesn't really have... Well, I can't say his audience doesn't have standards, because that's not a very generous thing to say. But it's... A lot of the FNAF community doesn't really care about this stuff. Like, they don't care that Springtrap is back in Security Breach, so long as it's like, hey, look, it's the guy, it's the purple guy in the suit. Don't you like him? The man behind the slaughter. Whoop-de-doo. So he kind of has to be overly positive towards everything all the time. I will say, like, I don't know if you watched the live stream with that Dawko did with the Game Theorists and some other FNAF YouTubers. But a lot of people, like, every single person there except for one of them enjoyed the game and thought it was great, even in spite of its bugs. Which is just, even Dawko, which is baffling to me. And the justification was, well, I didn't experience as many soft locks as other people. It's like, that's great, but they still exist. That's lovely. And it's frustrating. Especially, the people who say the bugs make the game more charming just absolutely blow my mind. No idea how that happens. Galaxy's when 3D Mario started to be really good? Yes. Yes, it is. Have I seen Dawko Smash reactions? No, but I'm guessing I don't want to. The Scott situation must have been hard to sell for FNAF YouTubers. Yeah, that especially, because, I mean... the other thing is that it's a complicated subject matter, because I don't think it's quite as black and white as people made it out to be. I think there is more, like, it's not... You're only allowed to fall into two camps. Either you thought Scott Cawthon was the bestest, most amazing person in the world, or you thought he was an indefensible scumbag who deserved to be burned. There was no middle ground for nuance in that situation, which made it even harder. Like, if you had a nuanced take of, like, yes, what he did is horrible and it hurt people, but also there's all these other things he's done. There was no room for nuance whatsoever with that, which I despise. I hate it when people just fall into this false dichotomy of it's either this or that. There's no nuance whatsoever. So I imagine that made it even more frustrating for YouTubers to try to, because like they have to comment on it, because that's their livelihood is generated from this series that, and Dawko specifically interviewed Scott Cawthon, so there was even more expectations placed upon him to comment something about it. Because I mean, realistically, it wouldn't have been financially viable for any of them to actually stop covering the series altogether. Like that just wasn't wasn't in the cards at all. So it was a tricky. I'm just glad I was not a FNAF YouTuber, because that would have been rough for a situation to handle. You hate it when YouTubers overreact, especially when they scream for no reason. You want to still hear after the video. Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't want to say that I feel like the odd one out when it comes to detecting that stuff, because that makes me sound like some arrogant know-it-all that's like, I can detect the bullshit, you all can't detect the bullshit. But really, I see so many comments from people, like, in support of those kinds of overly bombastic reactions, and I'm just like, what do you people get out of this? Like, they're just screaming wildly. I don't get it. You're making a murder mystery game, so when will I play when it comes out? I'm usually opposed to, I mean, on my own time, probably, but when it comes to covering fan games on the channel, the reason I don't tend to do that, and the reason I don't want to, is just because I'm pretty unfiltered in regards to the types of, like, when I criticize something, or when I have issues with something, I don't really hold back. So I don't want to get in a situation where I think something's poorly written and then it's made by someone in the community, because I just don't. I wouldn't want to tear into something that one of you all made. That I don't think that would be very fair of me, and it's not something I want to do. I mean, if someone reached out as for, like, I guess, even then, even for like a one-on-one criticism or feedback thing, I still don't know that would be something I want to go down, because that's a slippery slope as well. So I tend to steer away from that kind of those kinds of things. Do I have any guilty pleasures besides the show Manifest? People think Sonic 06 to people generally speaking, Sonic 06 is considered one, because that's a game that's just reviled by the world, but I absolutely adore playing it. So there's that one. Turning Red has become a guilty pleasure of mine, absolutely. For as odd as this is going to sound, the live-action Dora the Explorer movie was hysterical to watch. Like, I genuinely had such a fun time watching the movie because it was so dumb. The whole thing, like, I saw that in theaters, just with some friends, because, I mean, Dora the Explorer was a big part of my childhood, so I wanted to give it a shot. That was a mistake, because, good lord, it was a nightmare. Everyone else, like, we pulled back our laughter for the first half because everyone else was in the theater, but after a certain point, everyone else just left. Like, even parents who brought their young daughters to the movie, they all gave up too. It's like, no, we're not staying for this dumbass movie. So by the time, at a certain point, we were the only ones left in the theater, so we could just go ballistic and all out and not hold back our laughter at all. So those are some examples, I suppose. Cars 2 counts. Cars 2 is one that I can enjoy, ironically. William Afton Return was teased in the new books, so that would merely shift the... That's a tease, but it's not a guarantee. That could have meant he died permanently. That could have meant he was still out there. It was up to the next writer to decide what to do with that information, and the next writer chose to have William Afton come back in the form of... But also, it doesn't even... That's not even consistent with that, because what Security Breach makes it out to be, is if they were always still underneath the pizzeria, not that he was in a hospital bed and then got released in a warehouse to come back somewhere else. So I don't even think the books are 100% one-to-one consistent with the canon of the FNAF games anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Docker's explanation was for the game being good, it's a new era of FNAF and it's going to new levels. Oh, it's going to new levels, alright. New levels of awful is what it's going to. It's going to new levels of absolutely atrocious design. So, I guess that's technically correct. It's like the people who say Bethesda bugs made the game more charming. I don't understand that either. That's equally baffling to me. Nothing is ever truly black and white. Neutrality isn't even an option for most people because their mentality is if you're not with us, you're against us. That is a great way to describe the general summation of Twitter arguments and just online discourse in general. You're either with us or against us. You're either in this camp or that camp, and any room for a middle ground discussion or nuance is completely non-existent, which annoys me to no end. What is the dumbest security breach defense I found online? Man, there's so many to choose from. There's the one where people said, come on, it wasn't made by a huge production company, it's a pretty small team, so cut them some slack. Or there was one that someone said, guys, FNAF has always been just a stupid, simple point-and-click game, but now they finally expanded the scope to this grand open-world atmosphere. And you may say Sister Location did that, but Sister Location was pretty limited. But they really captured the feel and atmosphere of FNAF. They just need to work on the gameplay and story, but we're going in the right direction. That was dumb. Someone else said a security breach of the Cyberpunk's 2077 of the FNAF series, and the reply to that was, lol, ever played FNAF World? You know, the game that Scott admitted was bad and then immediately took down the game and refunded everybody. So, there's that. Obviously, finding bugs charming is always a good one. It's just some annoying stuff. The entire theater left? Yeah. So, the theater was pretty, because we saw it on opening day. So we were basically, because we were still in high school when so we were high schoolers watching this Dora movie, so, you know, that was interesting. But the theater had a lot of parents who brought their daughters to see the movie, because, you know, it's the big Dora, you know, the Dora live action movie, you gotta bring them to see it. So, from the opening seconds, we were like, oh, we've made a mistake. We've made a very horrible mistake coming to see this movie. But, you know, we knew that, like, we weren't gonna be the assholes in the group, or in the theater that were gonna ruin it for everyone else. We tried very, very hard to, you know, hold back our laughter. We did. We didn't go, I think I might have snickered once accidentally, but we made a concerted effort to not actually lose our shit in the middle of the theater, because it's like, there's a bunch of kids here, we don't want to ruin it for all of them, but one by one, they all just left. One by one, I don't know if it was the kids who begged their parents to let them leave, or the parents who said, this movie's shit, you're not watching this anymore, we're leaving, but either way, they all one by one, they all dropped like flies, and at this point, it was like, oh, the theater's empty now. Oh, okay, this is our own personal stadium now, bitches. And then all bets were off at that point. You think Vanny should have been something like an obsessed fangirl wanting to continue the legacy of William, so in some way William would be living on through Vanny? That could have worked. If you want to keep the mantra of I am of William Afton's legacy or whatever going, you can do that. That would have worked. But what they did do instead is make it so that Elizabeth and Michael and William are all still around, which is dumb as hell. If this is the new phase of FNAF, then you're scared to see what the future holds. I answered this in my Q&A video. I don't know what to feel about the story moving forward, because there's always going to be a part of me, I think, that cares about FNAF and wants to see what happens next. But inversely, when they've shown that they're so flippant and so willing to just carelessly invalidate the previous storylines, I don't know why I would care. So I don't know how to feel about it right now, honestly. What is the worst logic someone said in an Among Us game? How many tasks did you do? I did a few. Name them. I listed 2 tasks. You said you did a few, but you only listed 2. That means you're lying, because a few is not a couple. That is just... And that's discounting, of course, the stuff like, it's green, and then everyone votes green, or it's blue, and then everyone votes blue. Will Amy's and Big's story be 1 video each? They're pretty short. Possibly. Big will probably be 1 video. I don't know about Amy. I'm undecided on Amy's story. You honestly still like FNAF World? Oh, so, to be clear, I enjoy playing FNAF World a lot. Like, I will occasionally boot it up just for a sense, because I like the atmosphere of it. The music is a very calming... It's just it's a fun game to just relax with. To just kind of kick back and have a fun time romping through the worlds kind of thing. I still enjoy playing it, but by RPG standards, it's definitely very lacking in a lot of areas. So that's why I said it was poorly made, but I still enjoy it a lot. So I guess you could even say FNAF World counts as one of my guilty pleasures. It makes you feel like you're playing a shit game. Yeah, the intent, like when I made my security breach, it drove me insane video. The intent was to capture the experience of playing that game in a video, which I think I did in just one, because I didn't want to continue my full Let's Play on it, but I was recording, because really what I was doing, I was just recording footage from my analysis video, but I kept my microphone on, just in case there was anything that I wanted to react to live in the moment, and I'm glad that I did, because, good lord almighty, it was that just... There was so much I wanted to screw my head off at, and I did. Pizza Sim is the best game in the series, and Security Breach is the new Danganronpa V3. I can definitely see why a Pizza Sim would be someone's favorite. Imagine if the next FNAF game retcons Security Breach from canon. That would require Steelwool to have self-awareness, which they evidently do not. Is Afton actually back, or just the Afton virus? Afton, so basically it's revealed that all along Afton was alive in the bowels of the Pizzaplex, because apparently he and the entire rest of the Afton family in the form of Molten Freddy and Baby, they all survived the fire somehow, and he was just waiting, beneath the Pizzaplex and like gathering resources from other things to kind of keep himself alive, and using one of the recharge stations to keep himself alive, so it's Afton himself, not just the Afton virus. You had a game where discussions in Among Us would last 10 minutes discussing something almost nothing important than voting wrong. Yep, that's Among Us for you. Among Us in a nutshell. Unless you're playing Chica's Magic... Oh, Chica's Magic Rainbow is just... I mean, I came up with a consistent strategy to get through that, and I went through what that was in my walkthrough that I made 2 years ago. But it's painful to play. It is a nightmare to deal with. I mean, it's intentionally designed to be a poorly programmed rage game, and it works really well at pissing me off. Did I read the instructions for Big, or did I spend 2 hours in the first day trying to catch the Frog? I have not recorded Big's story yet, so can't really comment on it. But I am probably going to look up the instructions for how to fish with Big, because I don't particularly... I've heard horror stories of Big's storyline, and I don't want to waste time dealing with that. Oh, right, I forgot. Afton had to come back, or else he'd be melted. We can't blame Steelwool, because if they didn't bring Afton back, then they would have all been melted. Afton Virus sounds like AI Junko to me. Oh, dude, it's so much worse than you could ever possibly imagine. I don't even... I'm trying to keep the conversation on, like, surface-level FNAF stuff from just the games. If you dive into the book lore, as we learned last week, there's a lot of stuff you don't want to know about in FNAF lore. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again, so yeah, just take my word for it. There's a lot of dumbass bullshit in the FNAF universe that's limited to the expanded universe material. Will I retain the one game per franchise rule for the top 20 best games? Yes, because if I didn't, then I would be tempted to put many different Halo and many different Ace Attorney games on the list, so I will absolutely be maintaining that rule. You're convinced the AI Junko model was made to please a certain fetish? I think that's a lot of stuff in I think a lot of stuff in Danganronpa was made just to please a certain fetish, for as awful as that is. How long did it take me to beat Security Breach? I think... like, maybe 10 hours? I'm not sure. I think around 10 hours is probably a good estimate of how long it took me to beat that game. And that's, by the way, that's a 100% run of getting all the endings, doing all the princess quest stuff, getting the Vanny ending, the Leave ending, the burn trap ending, the golden figurine burn the place down ending, the drive out through the building ending. I got all the endings, did all the princess quest stuff, did all the optional stuff. So yeah, it took, I think, about 10 hours to do that. You always suspected that Michael survived due to the whole goodbye for now, but William, was he supposed to be in hell? Yeah, the whole point was that he was stuck in purgatory. But nah, he's alive and well, because they don't care anymore. They just want to milk that nostalgia. Don't you like Springtrap? I know I sure like Springtrap. One time in Among Us, the lights were out, you saw someone vent, you called a meeting, called him out, and he went, how can you see the lights are out? You said you can still see something's in a circle, and he said, but the lights are out, you can't see, and you got voted out. Then another guy sees the same guy kill somebody, and the apostle said he was lying, and they believed him because he was already accused. Yeah, it's... like I said, I mean, I made my point pretty clear in the video. It's... the people who play Among Us are actually brain dead, and the game is dependent on people acting smart, which they don't. And like... there's a reason, because I was sure people were gonna say, like, oh, you gotta play public or private lobbies with voice chat, and then I showed examples of that happening and going horribly wrong for a lot of other YouTubers. Those are just some of the instances that I found. I'm playing two games that involve playing different character stories. That I am. Albeit they are on polar opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of tonal consistency, or in terms of tone, but I guess technically I am. What the fuck is Ultimate Custom Night then if he's literally alive? I don't... I imagine the way they would justify it, because the security breach ends with the stupid, the blob pulling up Springtrap, or Burn Trap rather, into the fire, and then the game's like, well, this time they actually won. This time they actually beat the win, and they killed Springtrap for real this time, and so then everyone lived happily ever after. So I imagine the way they would recontextualize it is by saying, well, Ultimate Custom Night takes place after that. So, I don't know. At this point, I've given up trying to dissect FNAF lore. It was fun during the original 6 games, but ever since VR happened, it's gone so far off the rails, it's not even funny. It is beyond, so I feel so bad for Matt Pat. Because at least Markiplier, all he has to do is the freaking, all he has to do is just play the game. But Matt Pat has to sit there and try to figure out what the hell is going on in the game. Which is not a job I envy to any degree. Because even when he has the, because I mentioned this in a previous stream, but the people who, people took a screenshot of his video out of context and said, this is the only evidence he has for this theory, and then they completely ignored the entire rest of the video. So, it's a nightmare. It'd be weird to not have security breach characters in the hell. I don't know, it's weird. It's a whole, like I said, I am not the one. There's other people who work to dissect FNAF lore. I'm not one of them. I have better things to do with my time than that. Such as, just before I started the stream today, I was working on a script for an April video. So, there's that. Can I do the Kane's not able alternate ending for kindergarten? Probably not. I'm not invested enough in that to do that. How did he have an AI that advanced in the 80s? Again, timeline questions are not questions for me. Basically, in order to fish anything with big, it's not enough to have the thing to bite the bait. You need to do a button combination. For keyword, it might be going left and right and left. It's dumb. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to playing big storyline, to be honest with you. I've heard nothing but pain. Then again, I also heard nothing but pain about Knuckles' storyline. Knuckles' storyline wasn't all that bad, so maybe I'll actually enjoy Big. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a great time that I enjoy so much. Although the fact that they didn't bring back Big for the sequel, to my understanding, is not indicative of how great it'll be. So who knows? After what you found out about Mappa, you don't feel bad? Oh, is there a controversy that I'm lacking? I might be missing context here. I'm not up on the latest MatPat drama, so I don't know what's happening there. You were just roller skating and you saw the fair being built up. You really hate the fair. It's not only way too expensive, but per ride, but it's also close to home, so you can hear it with the windows closed. Oh yeah, I'm lucky to where I've never had something like that built close to where I live, so I'm not have to worry about the most I've had to worry about in terms of noise at night while trying to sleep is fireworks for 4th of July and New Year's Day and New Year's Eve and 2 days after New Year's Day, because people just like 2 a.m. in the morning and people are still blasting fireworks out. It's like, I get you want to celebrate, but like people are trying to sleep right now. Maybe cool it a little bit. I don't know. How to understand FNAF lore. Step 1, don't try. Great advice, yeah. You can imagine MatPat going through security breach with his handy-dandy notebook going, what the fuck? Yeah, Steve from Blue's Clues is of no use to anybody in trying to decipher FNAF lore. He couldn't even find the clues without the viewer helping him out every step of the way. Remember when MatPat was doing a charity live stream and someone decided to cancel him because he was popular at the moment? Yeah, I remember that. It annoyed me. You don't understand the hate for Knuckles in Adventures 1 and Adventure 2, you totally understand. Well, I mean, Skydeck sucks, but that's only one stage. I imagine the general problem, I imagine, would be just the lack of desire to do a treasure hunt, scavenger hunt kind of thing in a Sonic game. I can understand that. I mean, it wasn't really what I was jazzed up about, but taking it for what it is, just by its own standards and its metrics, it's fine. It's still not my favorite thing in the world, and I would definitely rather play Sonic or Tails storylines over Knuckles, but I wouldn't, if I had to play Knuckles' story again, it wouldn't be the end of the world or anything like that, so, you know, it was fine. He supports Autism Speaks, which actively hurts autistic people, and he's made some racist jokes in streams that he's never acknowledged after. So for the former one, I was unaware of that. I did not know about that. So that's new information. As for the latter one, I have never heard any of them, but I'm not going to deny that they don't exist. I've not watched all his streams, so I'm perfectly willing to accept that he might have, he probably said some stuff. I just haven't heard them myself. What's my favorite food? Probably chili. I don't know. I don't really think of what my favorite food would be for the most part. But if I had to pick one, I guess it'd be that. Not sure. If you support a charity with an audience that big, you have to find it eventually and heavily research that. Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't actually know that he supported that. If FNAF ain't written by Scott Cawthon, then I won't have a coherent story. Which is funny, because a lot of people say that Scott Cawthon didn't know how to write a coherent story, which he absolutely did. He knew what he was doing. He absolutely knew what he was doing when it came to writing a story. Skydeck versus Labyrinth Zone. Labyrinth Zone, it's not even... I would so much rather do Labyrinth Zone than Skydeck. I'd do it a million times over. How about like Gamma Story? Not just because it's pretty good, but because in Adventure 2, that gameplay style is a third of the game. Oh yeah, that's one thing I heard, is that Adventure 2 ditches the whole six game engine style and goes for a hero story and a dark story with 3 different types of stages, where one type is Sonic and Shadow, where it's just typical Sonic stuff. One type is Knuckles and Rouge doing treasure hunting stuff, which whoop-de-doo, I can't wait to do that again. And then the last part is Tails and Eggman blowing shit up in a giant mech suit. If you think fireworks are bad in America, I haven't seen Dutch fireworks. You only allow fireworks in the last day of December and January 1st, but on those days, oh boy, you're not be able to sleep. I imagine that's just a case of, that's the one time you can use it as an outlet to just blast the fireworks into the sky. But yeah, it was especially, I don't live in a very busy area, so it makes the sound of the fireworks all the more deafening. We need to assemble the Avengers. You got Dora the Explorer and Steve from Blue's Clues. Who else? Can we get the Wonder Pets in there? Should the Wonder Pets be a part of the Avengers? The Backyardigans, maybe? What is the worst logic in Apollo Justice? Maki Tobei being accused of the crime by a long shot. There's a lot of good examples, but that's probably the worst of the bunch. Can I play Paper Mario 1000-Year Door? I have strongly considered it because I've heard nothing but unending praise for the original 2 Paper Mario games. But I have not decided when or if I'm going to play them on the channel. So, remains to be seen on that note. We need SpongeBob for the Avengers. Yeah, let's get SpongeBob in there. Maybe Phineas and Ferb. They could be a part of the Avengers. Canada, there are fireworks on July 1st. We can hear America's fireworks on the 4th. Yeah, I imagine being smack dab in the middle of it. Don't forget Sumugi. I don't. Let's not have her in the Avengers thing. She, for all we know, she might end up writing the story for the Avengers. The more we can keep her away from it, the better. Donkey joins the... I thought you meant Donkey Kong for a second, no, but no, yeah, just Donkey from Shrek joins the Avengers. You're not too excited for me to play Persona 4 if I eventually do, because, you have a feeling I will hate it. If I may ask, why do you think that? Because there's different... If it's gameplay reasons, then I can probably say probably. If it's story reasons, then, I don't know, remains to be seen. I don't know anything about Persona 4. Like, I know absolutely nothing about any... The only Persona games I have even the faintest of concepts of are Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5 Strikers, which are the only 2 I've played. Gameplay and probably characters. Well, gameplay, if it's anything like Persona 5 Royal, then I can say almost assuredly that I won't enjoy it. But if it's character-wise, I don't know. I could enjoy them. More reason you're grabbing the Paw Patrols. Oh, dear lord. We can get Blue from original Blue's Clues and then Blue from remastered Blue's Clues. Every dungeon is mementos plus 1 or 2 characters. Ah. I guess that would I guess that might have something to do with the mementos being so universally adored in Persona 5. It's less optimized than Royal. Optimization is the bottom of my concern so long as everything else is good. Gameplay is decent, a lot harder, and the dungeons are kind of shit, but it's alright. Most of the characters I wouldn't like, especially Yosuke. I'm certainly notorious for not holding many characters in high regard a lot of the time, so possibly. But I do still probably want to check it out, because, you know, people have been asking for me to check out the other Persona games. I definitely won't play all of them, because a lot of them are ancient, and the means to which I have to play and record them would be more trouble than it's worth. But at the very least, Persona 4, I would be willing to give a shot one day. Just not anytime soon. Dr. Doofenshmirtz gets melted by the Fire Nation who controls the timeline. Now we've reached peak fiction. You would love me to try out the Metroid series? Metroid's on the list. Metroid is definitely on the list of games that I will play in the future. What has this chat turned into? A normal chat in one of my live streams. Get Clifford the big red dog. Yeah, just assemble everybody. Probably best to take away from Persona. Yeah, probably. I mean, Persona 5 Strikers was fun, but I would much rather have combined the storytelling of Persona 5 Royal with the gameplay of Strikers. You thought the stream started now? You didn't know I had my daylight savings. Yeah, I was wondering whether that would screw some people over in regards to knowing when the stream started, but I don't know. You'd say give it a shot. If I'm interested in the story, despise the gameplay, watch Persona 4 the animation. Yeah, but at that point, if I start the Let's Play, I'd probably be obligated to finish it no matter what. But at least I wouldn't be forced, I wouldn't be pressured into getting through before the end of the year. Well, I guess pressure would be the pressure I put upon myself. Out of spite to everyone who told me I couldn't do it. But, you know. Can't wait for Sesame Street No Way Home. Oh, dear lord. Hopefully more Persona will be released this year. Atlus is celebrating 25th anniversary, so if there's ever 10 release points this year, we'll see. I wouldn't hold your breath. But, well, maybe. Can I play Mario and Luigi? That is another game series that's on the list of games to play. Don't know when I'll get around to it, but it's on the list, certainly. I don't know anything about them, but... nah. We'll see. Yosuke is a predatory, bigoted creep, so you mean I most likely will. Well, I mean, I would definitely have major issues with that, but is that the only character that's like that, or is it most of the cast? Because if that's... oh, momentum does not exist in this level. If that's the only character, then I think I'll be fine. But if all the characters are something like that, then I will quickly get annoyed, yeah. What's the worst logic in every Danganronpa game? I don't even... everything surrounding Celeste's behavior pattern in Danganronpa in the first game, the dumbassery surrounding the, well, I don't know, like, people like to cite Danganronpa 2 Chapter 3, but I have much less positive things to say about Chapter 2 in that game, with the logic of Peiko's switcheroo, and of course the luck in Nagito Chapter 5. Altered Asparagus is devoid of logic, and V3's worst offender is easily the Kaede twist in the beginning of the game. Yes, Yosuke, but you think I might find Rise and Chi annoying despite you liking them? I don't know. Like I said, I can't say, because I don't know anything about the characters in question, so I can't really speak to whether I think I'll like them or not until I play the game for myself. It's unfortunate that Alpha Dream no longer exists, so you'll probably never get a new game, which is the same. Yeah, it's always unfortunate when a game studio that you really enjoy shuts down. Because, I mean, Dragonstone Software is the company that made Dragon's Dogma 3D, and they shut down years ago, so... sadly, the odds of ever getting a remake or remaster of that game are slim to none. So that's probably never going to happen. People do consider Persona 4 to have the best cast, which I find almost impossible because of how... I mean, Persona 5's characters were just phenomenal. And like I said, the thing that kept me motivated to keep playing that game was not the gameplay and not the characters. Oh, sorry, not the story. It was absolutely the characters. So, yeah, I hold that game's cast of characters in very high regard. I genuinely love the Phantom Thieves and their relationship with each other. So Persona 4, that's a very high bar to crack for Persona 4. Can I make an hour-long rant on Danganronpa? No. I'm done talking about Danganronpa. I don't want to extend that out any longer than I need to. I've said my piece on it. I've made my Let's Plays about it. I don't really have an incentive to talk about Danganronpa any more than I already have. Unless, if they make a new game, then obviously, but I don't have I considered making a rant video about V3 and how broken that game is, but I just don't care anymore. I'm so done dealing with Danganronpa. What is my favorite FNAF game? Well, depends. The one I got the most enjoyment out of playing was FNAF World, but obviously that's like a whole other echelon compared to the others. The one that's the best designed as a horror game is probably either FNAF 1 or FNAF 4. The one that has the best core gameplay is either FNAF 2 or Pizzeria Simulator. So, I'm not sure. I think I'd probably, my default answer would probably go to, because I want to say Pizzeria Simulator, but the thing is Pizzeria Simulator means nothing now, so I can't really say that anymore. Zero Time Dilemma versus Danganronpa 3. Zero Time Dilemma is worse because Zero Time Dilemma didn't conclude anything. At least Danganronpa 3, it may have skipped all the legwork it needed to get to a conclusion, but it at least reached a conclusion where the characters had their happily ever after that was then ruined by V3. But Zero Time Dilemma doesn't give anybody a happily ever after. It just ends. It just stops suddenly. It's like, I guess it's over now. Cool. Didn't I say in my last video, or my last stream, that I don't plan on making Ace Attorney vs. Danganronpa? I did say that, but some people are not aware of that, I guess. Do I like birds? I don't dislike birds. I don't know. Oh, okay. Didn't see those guys coming. I'm bird ambivalent, I guess. Favorite mechanic in Ace Attorney is Dance of Deduct. No, Summation Examination. Summation Examination is definitely my favorite mechanic. Dance of Deduction's presentation is great, but gameplay-wise, it's easily Summation Examination. It's certainly not Perceive, and Mood Matrix is still far too easy, unfortunately. Zero Time Dilemma should have just stayed cancelled. A lot of people like to say that. A lot of people like to say it would have been better if we got nothing, because then at least it's left open-ended as to whether they actually managed to save the day at the end of Earth's Last Reward. But cliffhangers are frustrating, so I don't know. It's just, I just wish they actually, because those characters deserved a better finale than they actually got. A much better one. Specifically Junpei and Akane. They were ruined. They were absolutely destroyed by Zero Time Dilemma. You know, not everyone knows, the same person who brought it up last stream, the same person who brought it up. So what I was insinuating was that the person who brought it up had not retained what I said last time. So that's Junpei. I think Akane got it worse than Junpei. Akane is just a shell of her former self. I mean, they've both been assassinated, but Akane, I think, gets it way worse than Junpei does. She's just a blithering idiot the whole time. You once saw threads saying Danganronpa had better mysteries than Ace Attorney. That is pathetically laughable. That is hysterical that someone actually, I mean, I know people think that. People think Danganronpa does everything better than Ace Attorney, which it just clearly does not. What do I think of two-part Ace Attorney finales like Graves Attorney 2-45 and 5-45? I think it can work, because it allows more time to develop the story, but it often comes at the expense of the former case. Well, the former or the latter. Because in the case of Dual Destinies, the game had set up a finale it couldn't pay off because it was very anticlimactic in the end, whereas inversely, Grace Attorney 2 had a slow build-up in Grace Attorney in the fourth case that had a tremendous payoff in the fifth case. So that happens a lot of time, unfortunately, is that you'll have a penultimate that's weak, that's really strong, and a finale that's weak, or a finale that's really strong with a weak penultimate build-up. Also, Sigma and Phi was ruined. Yeah, Sigma and Phi were also damaged significantly. Their whole storyline God. It's horrible. I hate it. Free Guy versus the Girl Who Stands Behind. I haven't seen a tidal wave of people trying to defend Girl Who Stands Behind. But there's a lot of people who actually think Free Guy's a really good movie and like the pinnacle of video game movies that understands what video games are all about. So, Girl Who Stands Behind pisses me off less. You're morbidly curious to play Zero Escape games now. So here's the thing, I can't in good faith recommend them to anybody anymore. Because I can't just say, because with the Indiana Jones movies, I can just say stop after game 3 and then don't play anything, or movie 3 and don't watch anything, and don't watch Game of the Crystal Skull. With Zero Escape, I can't say that, because if you just play the first game, it doesn't give you a conclusive ending to anything. Like someone just said, just play 999 Call It a Day. You can't even do that because 999 doesn't give you a satisfying ending. It doesn't wrap up the story or the character resolutions at all. So, that's, like, you can't just do that. And you can't stop after Virtue's Last Reward because that's a massive cliffhanger for the third game. And if you play all 3, then you're left with a hollow story that doesn't get a resolution to anything. So, I don't know. I hate that I can't recommend the games anymore, because there's no point you can stop at where you'll get a satisfying story. In Spirit of Justice, it feels like the first half of 6-5 was supposed to be 6-4, but then they remembered Athena existed. Yeah, Turnabout Storyteller definitely feels... I mean, it's fun. It's a solid case. It just has absolutely nothing to do with literally anything else in the story. Which sucks. I've always said, my biggest problem with Spirit of Justice is how they treat Athena and Maya, or rather, how they mistreat them. Video games are about subtle product placement, I'm simply too filtered to understand it. Of course. How could I be such a fool? It's kind of sad because you were blown away by the story of 999. I was intrigued to play more. I certainly did say that. I was intrigued to play the second game and to find out what happened next. But there's a lot of problems with the ending of 999 and the inconsistency. And it nukes its time travel rules several times throughout the trilogy. Which is another fundamental problem with those games. Puzzles are good, though. Virtue's Last Reward definitely has the best puzzle rooms. Well, best puzzle rooms and best story out of the bunch. And possibly best characters as well. Whew. Okay, just one more croc to stomp. There we go. Also, I saw someone in Discord asking... I got pinged earlier today that... asking if Neil was going to be here today. It's a bit late to say this, but obviously Neil's not here. I recorded something with him yesterday. We're recording a series that is possibly my favorite series I've ever done on the channel. And once we're going to record all of it in to make sure it's all recorded. And then once we have all the footage recorded, then I'm going to start editing and uploading it all. And I'm even going to make a trailer for it. That'll be cool. Zero Time Dilemma, dunking on Back to the Future, even though it doesn't make sense. That pissed me off so much. The fact that the people who wrote Zero Time Dilemma had the audacity to criticize Back to the Future's time travel rules when they're writing the spaghetti mess that is Zero Escape, that annoyed me to no end. It's like, guys, your storytelling is shit. Back to the Future is not. What are you doing? Neil and I are gonna film a Let's Play on the moon. Yeah, we'll get right on that. The second NASA lets people with compromised immune systems go to outer space, I'll get right on that. You saw Turning Red 2 damn days in a row. First you were pissed, second you already lost your brain cells from watching Turning Red and hearing Among Us sus jokes. Let's saw someone play Fortnite. I am so sorry about that. Is Kindergarten one of my favorite games? So, I would ordinarily answer this question by saying, I guess you'll have to wait till the video next week, but I'll just say right now, no, it's not. There's no mystery here. Kindergarten is decidedly not one of my favorite games of all time. It was fun, but it is not worthy of the title of in my top 20 games of all time. Am I ever playing Catherine Full Body? So from what I've heard, that game is questionable in a lot of instances. that might make for, a non-YouTube friendly content creation. So, I'd like to. I really would. But I would need to do more research as to what it would consist of. Is the Greatest Attorney in my top 20? Okay, at this point, I'm not gonna, I answered one question, I think that might have been a mistake. You're all welcome to guess as you please, but I'm not gonna spoil anything as to what's gonna be in the top 20. But I will say this, you're probably gonna be surprised by it. I mean, of course, there's some games you can expect to be there, of course. Like, for instance, this isn't a spoiler. Obviously, Dragon's Den 3D is going to be in there. Of course it is. You know that's my favorite game of all time. That's never going to change. But I think there are going to be some games in there that no one really expects to see for a multitude of reasons. So I'm interested in seeing what the reaction is. Plus, I think it'll be nice to do a positive video for a change. Because a lot of what I've made recently has been very critical, which I'm fine with because I have no issue criticizing things, as I'm sure you've been able to deduce. But I would like the chance to talk about things that I actually enjoy for a change, so... You know, I'm looking forward to seeing the reaction to that video once it's done next week. The fact that Zero Time Dilemma thinks their rules are better than Back to the Futures is the funniest thing in the entire Zero Escape series. Oh, I can see someone laughing at that. But the thing is, I wasn't laughing at it, I was furious at it. In much the same way... In much the same way that, some people are pissed off by turning red, whereas I find it to be hysterical. So, I can see that. If I think Catherine's too much, I should just remove Ultra Sparrows and Kamachita's Palace. Oh, so I don't know. Like, I've not done research as to what the game consists of, but I know that people in a previous live stream, people actively warned against me covering it in a video or a live stream because of the extreme type of content it creates. So I don't know anything about it on a personal level. I only know what people have told me, and what people have told me is gave me pause for thought. What's my thoughts on 6-6? I'm assuming you're referring to Turnabout Time Traveler, which is the DLC case. In which case, it was fun. It was a fun time. It pleasantly surprised me, honestly. I expected it to be crap, but it ended up being really good. Did I have to send stuff in Ultra Despair Girls? No. Shockingly, I did not. 6 DLC is actually really hated. Really? I did not know that. I mean, granted, I haven't done much research into the general public reception of those cases, but I had a blast to turn about Time Traveler. I originally was concerned because, you know, time travel. What could possibly go wrong with introducing time travel to Ace Attorney? But once I realized what was going on, it's like, oh, that actually works really well. They actually thought about this, and they weren't idiots. Cool. Remember when Hyoko says riddle-solving professors? Yeah, riddle-solving professors and catching cute monsters and also name-dropping Ace Attorney made me want to commit to the big die. When playing Ultra Despair Girls, you were 100% expecting a naked shot of the character, but surprisingly didn't happen. I didn't expect that. Spy Chainsoft has a knack for writing the line between things that are safe, that are ESRB approved and not. They ride that line as close as they possibly can, and they cut extremely close in a lot of instances. Have I seen the video, A Defensive Turnabout Serenade? Yeah, I have. And it basically, it's like a joke video, because it's mostly just saying, it's more critical than anything else. Like, it criticizes the case, and then it's like, nope, I gotta be positive, breathe in, breathe out, okay, positive, and then it goes criticizing it again. It named a couple actual genuine defenses that I included in my script, but the thing is, like, the video ultimately concludes the case is still shit, so it's not like someone trying to say the case is actually really well written. It's just saying, yeah, the case is shit, but it has this one good thing, so, you know. When they name drop Ace Attorney, Ibuki says something. Ibuki references it in, I think chapter 2. I think it's chapter 2 of Danganronpa 2 when she says that. They showed Mikon naked in their execution. I genuinely did not even notice that was a thing. Not that I was actively paying attention to it, but yeah, I wasn't really looking out for that. But it also doesn't surprise me. Take a shot every time the concert video played. Please don't. You will die very quickly. It was only a few frames so they could get away with it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they ride that line. They ride the line as close as they possibly can. They never do anything so explicit that it'll get them struck down with the ESRB, but they ride the line enough. It's frustrating. Mikon's execution is laughable. So here's the thing. I don't remember anybody's execution except for... Let's see if I can name. Let's see how many I can remember. Peiko and the one woman army thing where Fuhigo takes the hit or whatever. Kaede getting hanged over a bunch of piano keys. Terutsuru getting dunked into a volcano. Chiaki and the Tetris blocks. That's burned into my fucking brain forever. Thanks, you piece of shit video game. Leon and the motorcycle. Or sorry, Leon getting pinged by baseballs. Mondo in the motorcycle arena. I guess I actually remember more than I thought. Oh, Celeste being burned to the stake. I guess actually more of them stuck into my memory than I thought. But yeah, I guess just generally speaking, I don't, because people rank the executions. I don't want to do that. It seems to be in poor taste to rank the executions of high schoolers in this game. It's like, why are we doing this? This seems like a very bizarre thing to rank that I don't feel comfortable ranking at all. Because like, I don't want to say people salivate over them, but some people like actually make custom executions for things, and it's like, okay, why are you this invested in this? What are you doing? But Spike and Sub doesn't care about your mental health. Yeah, they have no care for that whatsoever. The Danganronpa fan game you played made them 100 times more brutal. I can see that. It seems like the Danganronpa fan base has a weird affinity for brutal executions. For reasons I won't assume, but they certainly seem to have it. And it's weird. She said even the Ace Attorney would be astonished by that idea. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's when she name drops Ace Attorney. With an incredible lack of self-awareness. Don't forget that Chiaki's DR3 execution rides the line so much that it only doesn't cross the line by 0.0001 meters. It's having no mature TV rating is raised the standards a little bit, I guess. They also have a weird affinity for shipping characters. Well, the Danganronpa community has a weird affinity for a lot of things. But it's just, the things I've seen come out of the Danganronpa community have boggled my mind. Isn't shipping in every fandom? Yeah, but the Danganronpa community takes it to a weird, to an uncomfortable degree, as I'm sure you've probably seen. Also, this boss is pissing me the hell off. I'm pretty sure you have to hit his stinger, which is a very tiny hitbox. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's no way I ever could have done this without the rewind feature. Yeah, as someone just mentioned, the Danganronpa community is especially bad in that regard. Dear Lord. The fandom flamed you for calling Chihiro, she has to not spoil people, which was weird as hell. That's... Again, at this point, nothing surprises me with Danganronpa fans anymore. Given the interactions I've had with them and the lengths they've gone to defend some of this stuff, nothing will ever surprise me anymore. Is that it? Are you, yo, still not dead? Still, oh my god. Jesus. How many hits can you absorb? Oh, is he finally dead? Oh, thank God, finally. Ah, finally. People defend free 3 case 1, you don't know how science works. Yeah, that's when I just stopped. I just threw in the towel. Because they're just like, oh, guess, look at that. That's not defying the laws of science, which is like, oh, okay, do we need to go back to elementary school science class? Excuse me, to run you through all this works? Apparently we do, because people don't understand the most basics of science, I guess. Strangely hypersensitive to Chihiro and cannot take any criticism to their story. That's just Danganronpa in general. Any criticism to the Danganronpa story in general is usually immediately struck down, because they think those games are masterpieces. Supposedly, Capcom will release an AA second trilogy soon, and Apologist will be part of the collection. So, I don't know about soon. It was listed on the leaked production roadmap sheet as coming out at some point. There was no official date tagged to it. It was just at the bottom of the chart, just going in any like at any given release date. So who knows? Maybe it'll come out. Maybe it won't. It'd be nice if it did. You know what? What would really piss me off is if I release my Apollo Justice video and then it's like, hey, guess what, guys? We're releasing a brand new collection with Apollo Justice in it. At which point I'd be like, oh great, now my video is immediately outdated because it uses inferior resolution for the footage compared to the remaster collection. Fantastic. Outstanding. What great timing. But I don't think that there's even a remote chance of that happening because I don't have much faith in that coming out anytime soon, if at all, so I think I'll be okay on that note. If they make a concert video, skip and change voiceovers, you'll laugh really hard because that case it would mean it took them so many years to at least fix that. Yeah, just all I asked is just a skip button, because they won't change the story because they don't think it's poorly written. But just, they've gotta know that the ability to skip that cutscene is something that people need to, like, it's so ridiculous how much they make you sit through that stupid cutscene over and over and over again. The shot put ball shouldn't be able to hit Rantaro. Yeah, there's nothing about the way that shot put ball is allegedly rolling should ever work. They want you to think it works, but it doesn't. The basic laws of physics prevent that from working in the way that it should. You think they like the case one because they can see the underside of the murderer's skirt? I don't think it's that. I don't hold Danganronpa fans in very high regard, as I'm sure you've probably been able to tell. But I'm pretty sure it has more to do with the fact that they just could not predict the twist at all. And they were like, oh, wow, it's her the whole time? Oh my god, what a clever twist I couldn't have possibly seen coming. And then they don't think at all. So I don't hold Danganronpa community in very high regard, and I still am willing to be more charitable than that in regards to why people think the case is good. If they can make a 5th case for Apollo Justice that fixes the game, then you'll be fine with it. I don't think they can. I don't know that you need a lot more than just a case to fix it. You want investigations to localize so badly? Yeah, but that's never gonna happen. Realistically, that's never gonna happen. People think Hans in Frozen is a good villain. Are you sure about that? Because I have not seen anybody ever try to say that Hans is a good villain from Frozen. You didn't see it coming because it's fucking stupid. I didn't see it coming either. I didn't predict that it was her. I did not predict that it was her because it made no goddamn sense for it to be her. But the reason why is because I actually thought about the case and I thought about the intricacies of it all. I was like, well, it can't possibly be her. It makes no sense for it to be her. So then when it was revealed, I'm like, no, that's not, you're not smart, you're not clever, you're just brain dead. This twist doesn't adhere to the basic laws of physics. What are you people doing? People, some do. I genuinely have never seen anyone defend him. The lengths V3 writers took to just rehash Chucky's death. Rehash it in an infinitely worse way. And it worked. I don't know why, but it worked. People really think that chapter is like one of the best in the series. It blows my damn mind. Because Spike Chunsoft stuff would foam at the mouth at a main series game having a female protagonist. I don't know if I push it that far. Oh good, wind, my favorite. My favorite mechanic. I mean, it's very dumb that Kaede only gets one case to shine and then it goes back to Shuichi, but I don't know if the motivation behind it was just that they didn't want to have a female protagonist. I think that's like, I don't like Spike Chunsoft, but I don't even I think it wouldn't match, like, that would be exceptionally cruel of them to have a female protagonist and then rip her away at the last second deliberately. Especially since, as someone pointed out, that would be a fan service goldmine, so I don't know if that's their motivation for doing that. Some people praise the ending of V3 for being a deconstruction. Oh, it's a deconstruction, alright. A deconstruction of the entire series. As in, an annihilation of it. More of a fifth case that explains Apollo's backstory, because new players won't have to deal with later games giving Apollo a new backstory each game. Possibly, but again, I strongly doubt that would ever happen. I don't know that they'd be willing to put that much effort into it. The school mode has plenty of fan service, such as Miyu groping Kaede and laughing about it. Is that by chance in one of the Love Suite sections? Or is it one of the free time events? Not that would even matter. Like, not that the answer to that question would even matter at all, but just out of curiosity. Turning red makes you feel like you're turning red. Oh, I did too, just because I was cackling so hard I was losing oxygen from how much I was laughing uncontrollably. But, like, the thing is, I could easily make a video about turning red from what I couldn't believe it. I stopped playing the damn, I paused the movie, because I'm like, how much is left of this? I gotta go to bed, because daylight savings is a thing. I paused it. I was only 55 minutes in. I thought for sure I had been there for at least 4 hours. But nope, I had been there for less than an hour, and it was just like, how is this movie still going? So, I've only watched 55 minutes of it, but from what little I've already watched, I could easily make a video going over how it makes no sense at all. But I don't care enough about it to do that. So, you know, it's up there for, okay, pretty sure I spun there. It depends on, I mean, even if I see a bunch of YouTubers and reviewers praising it as the best thing ever made, I still probably am not going to find the passion to care about it enough to make a video about it. Oh, really? I just barely missed it? Okay. Also, even... Oh, dear God. I also just don't want to sideline my other projects to get to that point. Which is another big reason why I probably won't be covering it. Because at this point, I'm fully anticipating having to cover the Halo TV show. Given what I read about... Given the most recent interview that they had with Pablo Schreiber... I have no faith. Not that I had any to begin with, but I have somehow even less faith in the Halo TV show being even remotely good. So at this point, I'm counting on having to cover it in some capacity. Like, I'm actively counting on having to cover that show. And I'm not going to enjoy it, because I'm not gonna enjoy ripping into it. It's gonna be painful, it's gonna take a lot of time to do, and it's gonna be a nightmare. But I refuse to let it stand, because Halo means a lot to me, and to see it get destroyed by that show is gonna be a nightmare. And that's... that's just what I've seen so far from like interviews and trailers and stuff. Okay, this is interesting. Dear God. Just from the trailers and all that. There we go. We made it. But I don't even want to know what the actual game or actual show's gonna have in store for me. You hate the Love Hotel scene. Shurichi got freaking raped twice. Doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I don't know. Well, no, I know why they put in the Love Hotel scenes, but it's just it's weird as hell, and I hate it that they put them in. Like, they're literally high schoolers. What are you people doing? And Corey Kiyo's motive. There is no way that you can look at Corey Kiyo's motive that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no way that you can look at Corey Kiyo and what he does and think to yourself, oh, this makes sense, because every way you contextualize it, it's just broken fundamentally. Where does it take place? Okay, so the idea is that the Halo is its own canon, which people have already used. People have already said, "Oh, come on, it's its own canon, guys. The Halo TV show isn't connected to the games; it's its own storyline, which means they can do whatever the hell they want." Which is just abysmal. It's an abysmal defense. It's not an excuse. The fact that it's not going to be used, or the fact that it's not going to impact the game's narrative at all, doesn't excuse what they're doing with the story so far. And again, Pablo Schreiber does not have he's a great actor, but he's not the Master Chief. He does not have he doesn't have the demeanor to play a character like the Master Chief. So, Danganronpa V3 was dethroned by Security Breach. Yes, because Security Breach is literally broken. Security Breach does everything wrong that V3 does in terms of storytelling and character writing, except that it's also a fundamentally broken game from a perspective of game design and optimization and programming. So it's just even worse. Do we know for a fact the characters of high school is even with the Chapter 6 stuff? So even if the people that they aren't, they are portrayed as high school characters in the fiction Tsumugi has created. You thought S is worse than V3? S is a worse made video game, objectively speaking. It has so much less effort put into it from every facet of design. It's lazy and embarrassing and pathetic and predatory with its gacha game system. But it doesn't destroy the entire universe of Danganronpa V3, which is the only reason why it's not at the top of the list. So there's that. It's like that's kind of why I made that disclaimer at the beginning of the video, saying that they're like you'll find worse shovelware games out there that are objectively worse than what I'm going to talk about in this video. But a shovelware game isn't going to piss me off. A Security Breach, V3, Apollo Justice, Zero Time Dilemma, Among Us, Fall Guys, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, all that stuff pisses me off. Like, actively angers me to my core. So that's why they make the list, and stuff like the Deal or No Deal shovelware games don't. Same with Kiefer Sutherland playing the role of Snake in Metal Gear Solid. You like him as an actor, but the only voice of Snake is David Hayter. Yeah, it's the same. It's that, and the same thing with Buzz in the Lightyear movie. Chris Evans is a great actor. He's not Buzz Lightyear. Which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Chris Evans and Pablo Schreiber starred together in the Defending Jacob TV show, and now one of them is playing Lightyear and the other one is playing Master Chief. So I just find that interesting. Trevor Magic screams when he sees a trending game. I get annoyed when I see a game that is only played by content creators because, oh look, it's the popular game to play nowadays. Even more so when that game is of noticeably low quality. Because it's just, they're games that people just move, the mindless sheep just move from one popular game to the next and with stuff like that. Wipeout Wii is at least sometimes fun. Yeah, here's the thing. There's a reason I compare, because I actually went back to play the Wipeout game for the Wii just for that video, and it was fun. It wasn't anything incredible or groundbreaking, but it was fun. Genuinely a good time. I'm glad I revisited it, and I would play it a million times over before I ever play Fall Guys again. Guys, Fortnite's cool with the kids. Let's go play that. Alright, it's dead now. Now next week we're gonna go play Among Us. And yeah, you just rinse and repeat. Next Among Us, and then I think Rust was after that. It's the same thing all over the place every time. I said that Portal Bridge Constructor is bad, and I didn't play after Death's Job. But what about fan games or fan mod of Portal 2 Portal Stories Mel? Have you seen it? What do I think? So I actually have a Let's Play on my channel of Portal Stories Mel. I don't recommend you go watch it because it's not one of my best series. But it is a blind playthrough of Portal Stories Mel. So if you want to see it, it's there. I don't recommend you watch it though. It's not exactly great, but I did play it, and I very much enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it, a lot in fact. It's a really, really great game. It's honestly, the puzzles are even harder than they were in Portal 2. You haven't played Fortnite in over 2 years, hasn't improved? No, it's gotten even worse actually. It's somehow gotten even worse. My favorite comments. You watched my part 1 of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and man, I sounded very young. Yes, that is how age works. That is indeed how the passage of time makes someone sound older the more time that passes. You can go back to my earlier videos, and I'm going to sound incredibly young because I was incredibly young. I was still in high school when I did my New Super Mario Bros. Wii series. I think I was a freshman. So, yeah, the passage of time can make your voice get a lot deeper. You still stand by Fortnite Chapter 1 being really fun? I can't comment on it. I didn't play Chapter 1. Fortnite ruined 2 years of elementary. You couldn't talk to anyone because the only topic of conversation was Fortnite. You found the game bad and were shunned and exiled from school society. Yeah, oh, what's that? Were you a free-thinking individual? Did you have a thought for yourself? Did you not succumb to the mindless sheep and the games they played? Well, in that case, you must be a contrarian who only hate. You know what phrase pisses me off? Hating popular things doesn't make you popular. Okay, reverse card. Liking popular things doesn't make you a cool person. It's like it's such a brain dead defense. Oh, you only hate it because it's popular? No, you only like it because it's popular. I hate it because it's bad. You like it because it's a new cool hip trendy game to play. That's literally it. Fortnite's your guilty pleasure? Hey, I mean, you can certainly, you can enjoy playing it. You can get enjoyment out of playing a game that's really poorly made, but it is a very poorly made game. Oh, didn't want to do that. You never had any interest in games such as Fortnite, Free Guy, or sorry, Fall Guy, Free Guys. God, imagine a game based on Free Guy. Fall Guys or Among Us. Yeah, that's, I also never, I never wanted to go down that rabbit hole. But then I ended up playing them just because I saw people play them and I'm like, God, this is awful. And then I played them, it's like, God, this is awful. In school, you still liked Minecraft, and then they were like, you like Minecraft, that's stupid, and you should go play Fortnite now. Yeah, because any game that exists for longer than a week is dead immediately. You gotta play the new cool hip game that comes around. Which is such an awful mindset to have. You were surprised when you realized I've been doing YouTube videos for 7 years. Oh, so I've been making YouTube videos for 8 years actually. Since January 5th of 2014 was when I uploaded my first video. So it's been longer than that. 8 years was when I started the channel. But yeah, it's been a long. The channel's always been a part of my life, whether it was just a fun hobby or something I actually can make income from, despite what people on Discord will try to tell you. It's always been a major part of my life. So, yeah, there's never... It's hard to imagine a time where I wasn't making content for this channel. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove that message so we don't go down this rabbit hole again. Why play Super Mario Galaxy 2 when I can play real masterpieces like Among Us, Fortnite, and Fall Guys? I know, right? Why play crappy single-player games like that when you can play popular, trendy games like that? You think Fall Guys didn't expect it to be that popular, so they didn't really know what to do? You can say the same thing for Among Us, because Among Us came out like years before it ever got really popular, and then it blew up unexpectedly, and then they just flew off the rails. With how Free Guy seems to be, you wouldn't be surprised if they made a Free Guy game or Free City game. I'm stunned they haven't already. I'm honestly surprised they haven't already made that. You'd think that someone would have already made a game of that caliber. It seems like it'd be an instant win machine, because no one would think, because the obvious criticism to make is, oh, so you guys are hypocrites because you're making this game despite the fact that you're making this game off brain recognition, despite the fact that the theme of your movie is all about how brain recognition is the big bad in terms of making video games. So, you know, it's just one of those things that is interesting to look at, but I don't think they're self-aware enough to realize that that's the thing that they've done. You heard Among Us used to be fun because it was a smaller community, it was a lot smarter. I can imagine that. I can imagine that at one point when it was such a niche thing that no one knew about, it might have been better, but it's not anymore. It was the introduction of the new maps. Someone actually left a really long comment thread on the worst games video, going into more details to how poorly designed all the maps are. And it was a very interesting read, because I don't know enough about Among Us' competitive scene to really be able to give a proper analysis on how bad all the maps are. But reading it was very interesting, because it's like, wow, these maps are even worse than I thought they were. So, just more reasons why Among Us sucks. Do I like my own voice? You really hate listening to your own voice. It's so off-putting. You're curious how that is for you, so I have to edit all my videos and listen to my voice. So, here's the thing with me. I don't really care about my own voice when I'm editing or recording stuff, because I don't really think about it. Like, when I'm editing, the most frustrating part of any video to make is the audio editing, because it's just so cumbersome and tedious to do. Just because when you edit the video, you can at least see the video coming together. But when you edit the audio, you're just looking at a blank screen and a bunch of spikes on an audio timeline for hours on end, and it's very tedious to do. So, but when I edit the audio, I'm more thinking about the inflection in my voice and like which of these takes sounds the best, which of these is best for the video, and the timing of when I say things and when to cut off certain words and when to cut to the next line. And stuff like that. But in terms of actually hating the sound of my voice, I just don't really think it. Like, I don't like my voice, but I don't hate my voice. I just don't really have a thought about it, because it's just that's the voice that I have. And there's a lot of things that are, when it's intrinsically tied to who you are as a person, that you can't change. Well, I mean, I can change my voice like this, but I can't naturally change what my voice sounds like when I'm not inputting any inflection or any weird dilation on it, so... The only time I don't like my voice is when other people are in the room listening to it. So, like, for instance, over the winter break, some of my family were watching my Toy Story 4 videos, and I can't be in the room when someone else is watching something I've made. Like, there were times when I was in high school and I made a video for a school project. My parents would always want to see it after I made it. I could never be in the room when they were watching it, because I guess it's just the thought of someone else listening to my voice or listening to what I've made is, like, I'm fine, if I'm in a different room, like, when I made my Dragons of 3 video, I sent that to my dad because I figured he would want to check it out, and being somewhere completely different from him is fine, because he can watch it on his own and do whatever, that's fine, but I can't be in the same room as someone else watching what I've done. I just can't do that. I don't know what it is, I don't know what psychological thing it is that makes me hate that, but it's just not, it's not something I enjoy. Just the thought of, I guess maybe it's just thinking about how other people were reacting to what I'm saying and how my voice sounds on camera. It's weird. But right now streaming, I don't really care. I sound fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have any strong emotional feelings toward my voice in isolation. It's just when I'm surrounded by other people that I dislike it. Remember when Minecraft was good until Bedrock Edition came out? Yeah, there's a reason the only version of Minecraft I still play is the version that is on the Xbox One, or I guess the Xbox Series X now. It's the non-Bedrock version. It's the console-specific edition of Minecraft that has not been updated to the Bedrock version, which means it's still good. There's a reason why that's the only version I still play occasionally. Audio editing is the big thing to keep sure starting your video projects. Yeah, that's certainly, because it's just so cumbersome to do. Because with script writing, that's more just a test of being able to put your thoughts on paper. And there's a lot of fun, at least I enjoy writing it a lot. Video editing, you at least get to see the video coming together and you can kind of see progress being made. Commentary, it's fun to kind of... I mean, it's strainful on your voice and your diaphragm to speak like that for hours on end, but it's fun to be able to finally kind of vent and let out your frustrations and finally say what you've wanted to say for so long. But the worst part is audio edit. I mean, except for barring any technical complications that come about as a result of it, like for instance, the project file won't open, or it won't render, or this frame's corrupted, or something like that. The only frustrating part is, or the only tedious part, I should say, is just editing audio when no progress can be shown of it. It's the most important. It's one of the most important steps, but it's just not fun to do. Do you hate it when I'm mad and someone says I just want attention? No one's ever said that to me. So no, not really. What's really bad is that many other games try to capitalize on Among Us popularity. There is Among Us clone called Suspects. Jackbox is a game called Push the Button. Yeah, it's just following the trend. You gotta keep in tune with the latest trends of Among Us, everybody. You can understand not wanting to see someone else watching my videos. You make audio interviews for an audio magazine, and your parents always want to listen to it, which is really awkward. Yeah, it's always just... It's just... I mean, even just... Like, even when I would get to school... after I made the project, if I was doing a live presentation, that never bothered me. Like, actually standing up in front of a classroom and talking to someone about something, that I could do with no problem. I have no problems with public speaking whatsoever. That's fine to me. But the problem is, like, it seems so backwards that you have no problem with, that I have no problem with doing a live performance like that, but actually just playing a video I have problems with. And that I never liked playing a video for the classroom because I would just, like, I would hear my voice come through the speakers and I just like, oh god, you sound so awful. What is this? What are you playing right now? So that would always sound really bad. But, yeah, it's weird. One leaves, what is the game about? It's a metaphor for how only 4 teams can successfully quit smoking. And thus, you venture through a wacko maze of insane bullshit to solve puzzles to try to escape the maze of smoking. And it's really dumb, and I hate it. You know what Overwatch is going to be worth it if it has a campaign? I don't think I would have enjoyed it even if it had a campaign. Its core gameplay is fundamentally flawed. Video editing is fine because you can listen to videos while you work, but looking for and editing audio clips to use is just soul-sucking. See, I can't do that because I mean, I guess I could but I'd have to turn the music down so low, or the other videos that I was listening to down so low, because my video editing, a lot of what I do is timed very specifically with what I say, like almost to the second, so I have to be very precise with what clips I put where and for how long they are. So I have to be 100% focused in on what I'm doing at all times. I can't really listen to music while I do it. You are never smoking, you don't regret that. Oh yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I went on my way to say in the video, like, yeah, smoking's bad, don't do it. Because I was expecting someone to be like, oh, what, are you saying the game's message is bad? Are you saying you should smoke? And because I'm sure I expected that to happen. Which is why I put the PSA in there of like, no, the message is correct, you shouldn't do this, but that message is not an excuse for crappy gameplay. You never understood people think doing this stuff is cool. Well, at a certain point in time, it was to be hip with the trends. But nowadays, after all the research that's come out about how awful that is for you, I just don't get it. Never understood the appeal of doing something that is just that actively detrimental to your body. I am about to reach the 2-hour mark. Yes, I am. And I think I'm getting close to the end of the game. I'm not sure, though. Although doesn't it feel like it's been less than 2 hours since we started this? I feel like it's been way less than 2 hours that we've been here for. But I guess that happens with a lot of my streams. Time tends to fly by with these live streams. Of course, now that I've said that, it's going to take forever to actually get to the end of the game, but I'm pretty sure we're near the end. Because I think this is the last world. So, I think we'll be okay. We shouldn't be here. I'm guessing we'll be able to wrap this up before the end of the hour. When you were around 16 in 9th grade, someone offered you a bag of blue pills while on the school bus. You refused. Good for you. Yeah, you definitely don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That's a disaster waiting to happen. It's still below 2 hours subjectively. Yes, hardy har har. You forgot how much you loved Chuck, only for the awful show to come along and kill her in the most horrendous way possible. It's so dumb how because again, I've said it before, they go for the emotional value of bringing her back from the dead, and then they get the emotional value of killing her again. It's really stupid. Going with the trends is something you really hate, however you've seen worse. A Dutch YouTuber is streaming his entire life since January 1st of this year. It includes him sleeping on stream good content. I can't say I'm surprised, but that doesn't sound like something very enthralling to watch. There's a reason why vlogs are edited up. Because not every second of everyone's life is enthralled with quality content. You're actually going to cosplay Chiaki, but Big Brain Amazon sent the wrong size twice so you couldn't. That is going to be a yikes for me. That is big sad. It's almost as if was similar for Joel Death, which you're still mad about. Yeah, I've not played Last of Us 2. Don't want to. Never will. I've heard enough about that game to prevent me from ever getting involved with it. Closer we've gotten to a real-life Truman Show. I'm not sure you want a real-life Truman Show. That's actually a movie, of all things, that's a movie that was shown to us in, my 8th grade English class. I don't know why, but my English teacher in 8th grade had us watch that movie in class. How does this game compare so far to Donkey Kong 1? Better, if only because of the characters. Diddy and Dixie is a way better pairing than Donkey and Diddy. I mean, Dixie's hairspin is just incredible, and having the characters be more nimble is awesome as well. Truman Show was a good film? Yes, it was. A bizarre one to show in an 8th grade English class, but still a good one nonetheless. And I can see its blueprints all over Free Guy. Namely, just the whole premise of the story, but also even, like, the whole thing, it ends in basically the same way, with the whole world is watching him after being invested in this character and everything he does, and then you watch him cross the ocean to reach the thing on the other side of the ocean. What's a Metroid game you think is perfect for me to start with? From what I've been told, I believe Metroid Zero Mission is the remake of the first Metroid game that I should play instead of the first Metroid game, because the remake fixes a lot of problems with the original game that would be painful to play if I did that first. When I play Your Turn to Die, I would consider it, but the thing is, the game is not complete right now. It doesn't have all the chapters published, and I don't want to start playing that game until I know I can finish playing that game. In 6th grade, you decided to watch Ratatouille due to it being a Friday to the end of the school year, and a dead rat fell out of the vent while you were watching. I guess he didn't know how to play Among Us properly, but that's... he heard us calling. That is embarrassing timing. Have I watched the Death Note? Whether you're referring to the anime or the TV show, no. The answer is I've not seen either, and I probably won't ever see either. You saw L in my Q&A video. So the only reason I know about L is because of a song that Nate Wants to Battle wrote that's a parody of Blank Space. Is the Taylor Swift song Blank Space? Is that what it's called? Blank Space by Taylor Swift? I think so. So he wrote a parody of that song called Blank Page in regards to the Death Note. And the song is really good. So I know about the character L from that song. So I decided when I was doing that when I was trying to figure out a way to visually communicate who the character who I was talking about without actually naming him, I figured, oh well, there's a character called L, and then the rest of it was self-explanatory. When in doubt, it's always Nameless Battle. Yeah, he's basically the only musician I actually listen to. Visual novels with mind-blowing story or video game with great gameplay, which do I prefer? I don't intrinsically prefer either because I enjoy both for their own different reasons. I'm happy to play a game with really fun gameplay, and I'm happy to sit back and enjoy a really enriching story. I do not have a preference either way. My favorite games of all time consist of games of both types. What I think of Pixels? Never seen it, but I've heard it's awful and I don't want to watch it. Social Blade predicts I'll have 7,000 subs for the end of September. That's not gonna happen. At the rate my channel has grown this year, there's no chance now that's gonna happen. Social Blade is very generous towards me. And every YouTuber for the most part, so I wouldn't count on that. When I will be playing Metroid 2, which one will I choose? Another Metroid 2 remake, fan remake on PC, or Metroid 2 Samus Returns on 3DS? Probably the 3DS version. I'm not watching Pixels. That's not happening. I'm never doing that. I don't know what your obsession is with making me watch terrible movies, but I'm not doing that. I have no desire. I've heard it's awful. I have no desire to see that movie, ever. If it does happen, I have to 100% secure reach on one stream. Why do you guys all hate me? Like, I make one sub goal for playing Sunshine, and all of a sudden everyone's like, what torturous things can we do to him for future sub goals? Social Blade predicted the exact day I reached 5K in October. Yeah, but that's in a matter of less than 2 months, which is a bit easier to nail down than it was to nail down that much of a distance between March and September. Also, that was in the middle of my Toy Story 4 series, and Persona 5, and Halo Infinite, which were all big things for the channel. There's no real big stuff happening for the channel right now. When I make the Apollo Justice video, that might shift things somewhat. But other than that, there's no real big things in the horizon. Because last year was the year of Danganronpa, the Rave Journey Chronicles, Persona 5, the Toy Story 4 series, my Danganronpa 3 series. So there was a lot of big stuff that happened this year, but, you know. You're all possessed by Halo 5 Cortana and you want me to suffer. Yeah, that's a plot twist for the ages. If I've reached 7K subs by September, I have to watch Home Alone 5 and Pixels? No, I'm not committing to that. I will never watch those movies. Do I plan to play AI The Somnium Files? Possibly. Stream Hotel Mario? No thanks, I've heard what Hotel Mario consists of. But yeah, I will do something for 6K subs. I just don't know what it's gonna be yet. If I reach 7K subs before August, I should play the entire Super Mario Kart 150cc with Bowser. No thanks. That sounds painful. Calling Halo Infinite big for the channel, not compared to something like Ace Attorney, but it did significantly better than I expected. In fact, it did exponentially better than I expected it to do. It's not even close, actually. Especially given the live stream coverage. Think Ghost of Mario will be so bad it's good stream? I don't know if that's something you want to see from me. If I reach 7 episodes by September, I have to do 100 stream of Mario 64. No, I'm not doing that. I don't... The obsession with making me play shit games for milestones is not something I want to commit to for the future. Do I support NFTs? Of course not. I immediately, and anytime I see a celebrity announcing the new NFT, I immediately lose respect for them. I don't know what I'll do with 6K subs, but it certainly isn't going to be, it's not going to be 100%ing 64 or Sunshine or Security Breach or playing Super Mario Kart with Bowser and 150cc or anything else like that. I also might, for future subscriber Q&A videos, I might just live stream them moving forward. I mean, the stream when we did that last time seemed to go pretty well. So, I might do that moving forward. But, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. You don't understand NFTs, what's wrong with them? There's too many things for me to list here. Conflict Desert Storm 2? I've certainly been considering trying that out. Just out of sheer curiosity to find out what it's all about after that one stream. Thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3? Never played it. Can't comment on it. I've heard it's good. Don't know how it compares to the first two games, but I've heard it's good. And I might play it one day. What are ideas for the 6K sub mark? I don't have any right now. So I'll cross them. I'll think about that later. What was the Conflict as a Storm 2 stream again? It was April 3 ODST. Halo 3 ODST. Halo 3 ODST was the live stream that we did. Towards the beginning of the stream, one person just kept spamming play Conflict as a Storm 2 over and over and over again. And it quickly became a meme. Is there any planned games to playlist I have prepared? Yes, I have a list that's very comprehensive of all the things that have been recommended to me over the past few months. And I need to just sort through what I'm going to cover, and I'm actively working on scheduling what I'm going to play and when. So, I do have a list that I'm actually working my way toward. What are the visual novels that I'd be playing on the channel in the future? The first thing to come to mind is that Aviary Attorney is something people have recommended to me. Obviously, Your Turn to Die is something I'd like to cover eventually. Steins Gate is one that Joe bought for me. in 2 years ago that I haven't played yet, but I've been considering. Murder by Numbers is one that I said I'd play a while ago and never did. Valhalla seems like Coffee Talk, which could be interesting. Umi Neko is one that was recommended. Hotel Dusk is something I'm considering. Stuff like that. Do an Ace Attorney series retrospective. I've already made my thoughts on Ace Attorney known. That there's nothing... There's a reason why for my Ace Attorney celebrating 20 years video, I just told the story of how the series changed my life moving forward. Because there's nothing left that I can say about the actual quality of the games I haven't already said. So, there'd be nothing more for me to say on that note. Favorite track from classic Sonic games? I mean, the obvious answer is, you know, one of the obvious ones like Green Hill Zone or Emerald Hill Zone or Chemical Plant Zone. But I think I might go with... It'd be something from the Sonic 2 soundtrack. Probably either Hilltop Zone or Oil Ocean Zone. Halo vs. Doom? Halo. By a long shot. Was it okay if you played Reach first? If you want to go in terms of story, like if you want to go in chronological order in terms of what order the story is told in, then I guess it makes sense to play Reach first. I'm always an advocate for playing... When I recommend the Halo games, I recommend playing in release order from Combat Evolved to 2 to 3 to ODST to Reach to 4 to 5 to Infinite. But you can play in chronological order. You technically won't miss the... Well, no, you'll... I still think it's better to play chronologically, because there are certain gameplay changes made in Reach that you will miss for Combat Evolved if you're not used to the original game's style of play. But that's why I recommend that over playing in terms of story chronological order. Having said never played Doom though, no, but I've seen footage of Doom and I don't want to play it, so... Yeah, I know what Doom's gameplay consists of, and it's not something I would ever want to do. In much the same way that I've seen footage of games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, and I know I would never want to do that. Because it just, the combat looks so slow and cumbersome, I just don't ever want to get involved with that. I guess I didn't jump there, okay. Didn't say I wanted to play Doom before. Previously, yeah, I considered giving it a shot, but the more I see about what the game, the more I see about what the Doom gameplay consists of, the less I want to get involved with it. Because the only FPS game I actually want to play, there's only one, Jesus Christ, there's only one FPS game I actually enjoy playing, and that's Halo. Nothing else is even remotely appealing to me, to even a slight degree. Is this the year for Sonic games? I'm gonna try to play as many of them as I can before Frontiers comes out. Which courses would I like to see in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Course Pass, since I now played all the games? The Dino Island one from Double Dash, basically everything from Mario Kart 7, just to name a few. And some of the ones from Mario Kart Wii, like DK Summon, would be cool to come back. The genre of games I won't play no matter what: MMORPGs and Battle Royale games. Any kind of MMORPG like Dota or League of Legends, and any kind of Battle Royale game like Fortnite or PUBG or Apex Legends or any of the other 1,000 ones of them that exist nowadays. Don't ever want to play those, no matter what. Coconut Mall. Well, Coconut Mall is in the first wave of courses, isn't it? But wasn't that like the big one they showed off during the trailer, was Coconut Mall's coming back in the booster pass? So I'm pretty sure that one's guaranteed in the first wave, which is coming out this Friday, believe it or not. So it's almost here. We almost have... They're doing it in waves of 8, right? It's gonna be 8 courses at a time, I think. It's either 4 or 8. I'm pretty sure it's 8, but I'm not sure. Danganronpa fandom pales in comparison to the League of Legends fandom. So, I had friends who were Dota, like, heavily competitive in the Dota genre, and they were toxic as hell, so I can't speak to the League of Legends community, but I can speak to the Dota community, and they're atrocious. So if they're anything like the Dota fanbase, I don't want anything to do with them. What about the Arkham series is unappealing to me? It just looks like generic, bland action. Not anything that I would really be interested in. It's kind of the same thing with the Spider-Man games. Just overly cinematic button mashing combat that I don't want to do at all. And Batman Arkham, the combat there didn't look much better. So, and the story would not be interesting enough to me to want to try Jesus Christ, try the gameplay. The entire first movie is already known. All I know is that Coconut Mall is confirmed. I want the rest to be a surprise for me. I don't know if they confirmed the courses themselves or if it was already leaked, but either way, I don't want to know. I've been staying as blind as I can so I can see the courses for myself when they come out. They're toxic as hell, more toxic than Fortnite. I can see that. They showed the courses in the trailer. Yeah, but I wasn't paying all I saw was Coconut Mall and I think Choco Mountain. There's a very deliberate reason I wasn't paying close attention because I want to save some surprises for when I play them myself. Once I knew it was happening, that's all I needed to see. The Telltale Batman series is pretty good. Yes, it is. Season 1 is decidedly better than Season 2, but they were still both enjoyable. If you do the villain route for Joker, it's great in Episode 5. If you do the vigilante route, it sucks for Season 2. Overall, Season 1 is much better. Will I do a DLC release stream? Probably. I'll probably... I mean, well, I think I'm gonna be recording with Neil on Saturday, so... maybe... I might do one Friday night as a very deliberate change of pace, but I'm not sure. I might make videos on it, I might cover it in a stream. I don't know what my plans are for that yet. To give me an idea of how bad the Fortnite fandom is, one particularly toxic fan called you autistic and said they were going to rape your dead grandmother. Well, that's Fortnite for you. I mean, I'm sure you can find stuff like that in any given fandom, but it doesn't surprise me that Fortnite fans think that that's an appropriate thing to say specifically. What would I feel if a new sequel to Ace Attorney released this year? I would be happy. I'd be excited to play it, but I can almost guarantee you that's not going to happen. If it does, I'll be stunned, but I'm extremely confident that is not going to be released this year. They announced the Chronicles in April of last year. So I guess technically speaking, they could announce one. They could announce one at E3, but I'm very doubtful of that. Jesus Christ, this goo is impossible. So remains to be seen. I'm extremely doubtful that they would ever make one this year, but you know, I guess there's always a chance that they might surprise me. And of course, if anything gets released in that regard, it's more likely that if they get it's more likely that if we get anything, it'll be we're more likely to get a collection of 4, 5, 6 than we are to get a brand new game, but even that I'm not particularly excited about. Favorite birds from video games? I don't have any. I don't have an answer for that question. Abby's backstory sucks. If you're referring to Last of Us 2, I don't know anything about... All I know is that Joel and Ellie were both character assassinated. And which is why... It's why I'm not... Because I was considering playing the first Last of Us game before playing Last of Us 2. Once I heard the sequel was coming out, it's like, oh, I'll play the first game to see what it's like. Then the second game came out, and I heard how much it assassinated Joel and Ellie's characters, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna bother. Because if the game, like, if these characters are gonna get destroyed in the end, then I have no reason to check out the first game at all. Which sucks, but what can you do, I suppose. Capcom League said they would be releasing a new Ace Attorney game this year. Yeah, it also said they would be releasing Chronicles last year, but the time frame during which the Chronicles was released was pushed back from when they were originally planned. So it's possible that if Ace Attorney 7 is still in development, that it could have gotten delayed to next year. So again, I'm withholding judgment until we actually get a proper announcement from Capcom. Oh, dear God. You played Fortnite once, you hated it. Someone played it on your Switch because it was installed, but the person in question broke your Joy-Con while playing, so you deleted it. That is unfortunate. Last level in the game. Last mid level, I'm assuming before the boss battle against the... I don't know who. Oh, dear God. Well. Oh, Jesus. I think this is the longest game of the bunch. Because I've seen... Oh, my God. I've seen, Ray Narvaez Jr., he streamed this trilogy. I believe his stream of the first game was like 3 hours, his stream of this game was 5 hours, and his stream of the third game was 4 hours, so I think this is the longest one of the trilogy, which means we shouldn't take us as long to get to the third game when we do it next week. Although I'm not actually, I might push back Donkey Kong 3 to stream the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass. I'm undecided on that, though. I still have to decide how I'm going to cover the Booster Pass, because I can't... Saturday's going to be a recording day for me and Neil for our secret project that I'm being deliberately vague about. Will I play Donkey Kong 64? Absolutely not! I've heard enough about that game. Okay, what the... Okay, just go over the... Yeah, that works. I've heard enough about Donkey Kong 64. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. What I've heard about it is not stellar. Oh, what are we racing the bird now? We're racing the bird. Oh, good. Okay, this doesn't seem too bad so far. Ow, Jesus. It makes Mario 64 look like Galaxy. Yeah, I've heard similar sentiments to that and how poorly made. Oh dear God, a wall of bees. That's how poorly made the game is. So I will be not playing through that. Sonic vs. Mario, two entirely different types of game. I would rather. Because it depends on the game. Because some 3D Mario games are great, some suck, some 3D Sonic games are great, some suck, and some 2D Mario games are great, some suck, and some 2D Sonic games are greater and some suck, so it's hard to give you one definitive answer to that question. I guess I don't really have a preference to either. I probably have more nostalgia for Sonic. Oh, this was a trap, this is a path to coins. Just because I played Sonic earlier. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the first games I played in my life, ever, so I probably have more nostalgia associated with Sonic than I do for Mario, but in terms of which genres, or which series is better overall, I don't really have a great answer for you. Because I don't think I have a preference. Adventure 1 or Sunshine? Adventure 1, and it's not even close. Easily Adventure 1. Adventure 1 has had some rough spots, but compared to the likes of Sunshine, it's not even close. This level is fun. Are you sure about that? Because racing this bird is painful. Especially in these tight, narrow corridors. You hate when a character gets killed for shock value? If you're referring to Joel's death, the thing that, because I know a little bit about that, and I'm pretty sure the circumstances that lead to Joel's death are moronic in terms of just the sheer contrivance and idiocy of the characters that lead to that point. So, you know, oh dear God. Imagine playing this without the rerun feature. Yeah, no thanks. I die before that ever happens. I don't want to touch this game with without the rerun feature. That'd be painful. Returns and Tropical Freeze are much better suited for a pre-recorded Let's Play format instead of a live stream. It uses the same world form as New Super Mario Brothers. So I streamed New Super Mario Brothers as well. I did a live stream of that early last year. So I'm not opposed to live streaming those types of games either. Forgot how brutally hard this game can be. Brutally hard is the understatement of the century. What age better, Adventure 1 or Mario Kart 64? Adventure 1. Because Mario Kart 64's AI rubber banding is bullshit. I mean, Adventure 1 still doesn't age super great, but it's aged way better than that. There is more for the game if you 100% it. Oh, I know. I've been told there's a secret bonus word you can do if you get everything or whatever. I'll pass, though. I think I'm just gonna stop at the final boss for this. Oh, dear God. Okay, couldn't do that. Donkey Kong Country Returns is one of your favorite games of all time, and it's one of the first games you ever played. Well, hopefully you enjoy my playthrough of it when I eventually do it. I think Donkey Kong Country Returns is the best Donkey Kong Country game. I have not played it, so I cannot comment on it. But the general consensus that I hear from people is that Tropical Freeze is the best of the series. Oh God, that's a lot of spikes. Oh, okay. I need that cannonball. Need the cannonball, please. Thanks. So I think I should do a Let's Play instead of a stream so I can comment on levels instead of chatting over it. Possibly, but I don't know that I have enough time in my schedule to actually work this into a main Let's Play. Oh my God, those are bouncy as hell. Jesus. Sonic Adventure at least has hilariously bad voice acting to make up for it. Yeah, the voice acting, oh no, just over and over again is funny as hell. Even if it is jarring to hear Knuckles just not give a single shit about seeing a bunch of other echidnas. Like, you'd think that he'd care a little more, but that's just part of the voice acting being so awful. But at least it's laughably bad. Then again, Adventure 1 and Sunshine both have laughably bad voice acting, and it still boggles my mind that Jen Taylor, who's the incredible voice actress behind Cortana, also does the voice for Princess Peach and Toad in some of the earlier Mario games, including Sunshine. Donkey Kong Country Returns, one of your first Wii games, made you bond more with your father and sister. That's great. I'm glad I was able to do that for you. I have never played it before, but I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. Adventure's way more voice acting? It does, but in the short amount of time that Sunshine has voice acting, it certainly leaves its impression in a very negative way. No way, I can't believe this Eggman Sonic Adventure. There's a lot of really easily quotable lines from the insane ways in which characters have delivered dialogue for all the things. Ow. That was not the plan. Ah, Jesus. Yeah, and also get a load of this. Just get a load of it. The phrase "get a load of this" has been ruined for me. Because I replayed the Stolen Turnabout recently, and that line's in there, and I was just like, oh God, no. Which, by the way, playing the Stolen Turnabout after playing Persona 5 in reference to Master Mask like a Phantom Thief with calling cards and things like that, it's a bit of a weird experience. Okay, is he dead? Are we done? Nope, he's still... How many times do I have to kill you? Oh, now what? Oh, now he's going at the speed of snail. Great. Oh, and now he's a ghost. Joy. What the... Oh, really? Really? Invisible... Oh, joy. Okay. That's fun. Jesus. How many times do I have to kill you, boy? Yeah, that's literally what I was referring to, was Jafar saying that in Aladdin. Oh, Jesus. Well, I guess it's just you and me against the world, Diddy. Oh, no. We're in more? The words despair and hope. Easily. Oh, okay, I caught one. Cool. Excuse me? Okay, I guess I didn't go in. Oh, God. Jesus. Okay. Ow. Diddy Kong versus the world. Yep, it is Diddy Kong's quest. I guess it's fitting to finish... Oh, what is that? It's fitting that we finish the game as Donkey Kong... Oh, or as Diddy Kong. Sorry, that is an incredibly limited window of time we have to get through that. Okay, alright, new update. Purple cloud makes you run into the opposite wall. Understood. Okay, so we're just dead. Got it. Alright, so don't hit the purple. I was curious to what it was gonna do. Turns out it's does not do great things for you. Oh, you can't jump over all of them. Nope. That's not gonna work. So you just have to... You have to land in the incredibly tiny window between them, which is not easy at all. Oh, Jesus. Okay, damn it. Finally! Okay, there we go. Ha! Now, cannonball where? I see no cannonballs. Oh. Stay away from me. Ow, Jesus. He really just spawns in out of nowhere, doesn't he? He really just spawns in out of nowhere, doesn't he? Well, at least we know where the cannonbal's gonna spawn now. Where are you coming from? Where are you? Where? There. Okay, you're right there. Cool. Are we done? Sure aren't. Oh, are we finally? Oh, he's finally dead. Jesus. He's finally dead. And he gets sucker punched. Hey, little guy. Oh, don't remind me of that line. That line is burned into my brain. Hey, little guy.
Your family is looking for you. Your parents want you to follow me.
Hey, kid, we're only trying to help. And a bunch of other dumbass lines that lost the remake after the 5th time they said them in a row. God damn it. Alright, we did it. We beat the win. I bet I'm your favorite. No, you're not. None of you are my favorite. Oh, and my favorite line, are you having fun yet? No, Vanny. No, I'm not. Thanks for asking. Cranky's being ignored. Yeah, Cranky deserves to be ignored. Cranky just bemoans you for not getting 100%. We're memeing about security breaches, terrible dialogue. Cranky's going to kill you for listening to his flexing. Oh, boo-hoo. He can play the game for himself next time. If he wants to get all the collectibles, he can play the game himself.
Naughty children must be punished. Nighty night.
God, it's all so dumb. Oh, Mario, Yoshi, and Zelda, and Link, huh? Okay. Great. I guess we had to cross over with some other franchises along the way. Cool. Oh, Lord. Want to look at your limited progress in the screen? Press, okay, buzz off and see if you can find some more of my coins, which I very much doubt you will. You're right, I won't. I will do no such thing. Alright. We win. We beat the win. Alright, so that was way harder than the first game. That was way tougher. Can't wait for me to give more thoughts on Turning Red on Discord. Well, first I have to eat lunch. Then I have to record some commentary for something. And then I'll after I'm done working for the day, I'll watch the rest of Turning Red and see just how bad it gets. It's great how Security Breach tries so hard to be scary and it fails so miserably. It's honestly kind of pathetic. Someone commented today that Aura the Whale gave me more jump scares than the entire Security Breach, which is true. I wasn't scared or even jumped by even a single one of the Security Breach quote-unquote jump scares. I was just pissed off the whole time. Donkey Kong became a chuckster. That he did. That he did. Back in my day, I got the 80% world record. When I was your age, I beat the game without sound and my eyes closed. Oh boy. Well, I guess if I have to give an overall ranking, I'd say that was overall probably still better than the first game, if only because of the characters and the more fluid movement you have with Dixie Kong in your arsenal. Way tougher, though. It's definitely tougher. Back in my day, I 100%ed Sunshine and 64 at the same time with my foot. Now that's proper gamer skills. When I was your age, there ain't no rewind feature. Donkey Kong Country 3 is considered the worst of the three. Well, I'm sure I'll have a fun time then. Can't wait to play it next week. It is cool to finally be able to beat these games, though. Because I played a little bit of all three of these games as a kid, and I just never played any. I never beat any of them. I got like I said, minecarts first I got in the first game. I didn't leave World 1 in the second game, and I don't even think I beat the first 2 levels in the third game. I've definitely played the third game the least of the bunch, so I know next to nothing about it. Back in my day, children actually played outside and read books. What has the world come to playing these video games on the little digital screens? Can't wait for another pain stream. Oh, they're my favorite kinds of pain streams. But hey, we beat the win. We still made our way through it somehow. Through all the trials and tribulations it took to get to this point, we still pulled through the game. And there sure are a lot of credits to give out to these people. There's a lot of characters they're giving thanks for. We haven't even gotten to the main actual credits of the dev team yet. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. I'm glad. Hopefully you all had a good time. I mean, it certainly was frustrating on my end of things trying to get through the game. But hopefully you all were entertained. Hopefully you enjoyed chatting with everybody, because I certainly enjoyed talking with everybody here today. Let's get Brooks on for a good measure and talk about Toy Story 4. Or we could not do that. How about we don't do that? I think I've had enough of that for a lifetime. I'm pretty sure I've had enough of Brooks talking about Toy Story 4 for once in my life. I don't need to do that ever again. That was a spur-of-the-moment thing done for one stream once. I'm not looking to do that again. Let's bring Neil to see if we can stream on the moon. Yeah, let's see if he can hook us up with his crystallic fusion and turbo blasters for his ship. Get a unidirectional bonding strip to repair it. Alright, did we win? Oh no, here's the actual proper credits now. But yeah, I'm actually editing together a trailer for the project we're working on. I'm really excited for it. And it's the first of that type of series that I've done for the channel, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. We've been having a blast so far, recording it. It's been a chance for us to kind of kick back and relax while we play something. But I'm looking forward to seeing people's reactions to both the trailer and the series itself. Have I seen the video Apollo Justice, a worthy sequel? Yes, I have seen that. And said video was not originally called a worthy sequel. That video had a very different title when it was first released. But its thumbnail and title were changed at some point. I saw before that happened. So I've seen it. And I wish I mean, they had me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie. They had me in the first half, but then I watched the whole thing and like, oh. Alright then. What was the name? To be completely honest with you, I don't remember, but I know it was different than that. I could probably find it, but it was by Jack's Melancholy Palace. He called it something else beforehand. I could probably find it if I looked. Has 2022 been a more relaxed year compared to 2021 when it comes to recording videos? Significantly more relaxed, yeah. But I also haven't had to make a large series yet, so we'll see what happens when Lightyear comes out. The person saying it was the best game in the series is just wrong. Yeah, I've noticed even more problems with Turnabout Trump than I ever thought possible. It's fallen even worse than I thought. Okay, well, that's gonna be a wrap for today's stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I certainly had a blast hanging out with everyone today. I'm gonna go eat lunch, and then I'm gonna get back to work on the next video. The plan for next week, as it stands, is to play Donkey Kong Country 3, but I might change my plans to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe instead to cover the booster pass. I'm undecided yet, we'll see. Last question before I leave. Have I seen Apollo Just Had to Write a Sequel? No, but I started watching it and I added it to my list of videos for research, so it's on the list of videos to watch, don't worry. Anyway, yeah, so we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, and I will see you all next week for whatever the stream is, be it Donkey Kong Country 3 or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass. Have a good day, everybody.